Hello, everyone. Welcome to DCU Daily, and day 2 of CinemaCon is here, so we are going to be talking all about that. And then, of course, today is WB, so it's more in line with the actual show of DCU Daily because we have a lot of DCU news right now. So, what are we going to be talking about? Of course, we have a little bit from, bit of Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi. They're going to be talking about, apparently Warner Brothers has a new specialty label. We're going to be talking about that. And it's already landed its first movie from Honora winner Sean Baker. Then the upcoming Alejandro G. Iñárritu film Digger, starring Tom Cruise. Going to be talking about that. Hunt for Gollum, Evil Dead Burn, Practical Magic 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Clayface Supergirl as well. So all of that is going to be what WB has at CinemaCon. Although we will also be talking about a little bit of Neon at CinemaCon as well. They had a much smaller presentation, obviously being a smaller studio. So we're going to be talking about that. And then, of course, going to be bleeding into MCU Weekly and MovieTalk Madness. Going to be talking about Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Avengers Doomsday, as well as the upcoming sequel to Godzilla Minus One, Godzilla Minus Zero. We got a very, very small teaser, but still a very exciting one, so we will be talking about that. And then, of course, we get into our monstrous amount of quick hits, no pun intended. And then we get into other DC news. We got some DC quick hits in regards to Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow. And then, in terms of the big news we have, apparently, Adria Arjona has been cast in Man of Tomorrow. But the real question is, as who? So we will be talking about that, and of course, so much more after this wonderful intro with our new favorite actor from our new favorite film of the year, Ryan Gosling with Project Hail Mary. But, it's for Barbie. It's fine. It's fine. News intro. Here we go. It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number 2.
Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Welcome to the show. We are here to talk about the news and mainly, CinemaCon stuff. But we are going to be getting into that so much of it. Hopefully it won't take 400 hours and the amount of, instead of watching the whole Godfather trilogy, is just watching this stream essentially. So hopefully it won't get to that point. But who knows? We make no promises here at DCU Daily. Of course, I am the host for today, the host with the most wonderful beard, possibly. John, lovely to see you all. And we have some people in the chat. Got Monique dunking on us about how great her fucking dinner is, as always. D. Cole, enterprising. Swag fan, been a while. You've been creeping back in. Lovely to see you again. Terrence, hello. And then we also have enterprising. So, yeah. So nobody else for now, but we will be the more people will trickle in. Speaking of people trickling in, Dan is also here. Dan, how are you doing on this wonderful Tuesday? Are you excited to talk about all things WB and all things,
Somebody's already calling out in the chat.
Am I disappointed? Bro, I'm just fucking tired. Like, I'm so tired.
I'm excited.
I got like no sleep, and my dad had to wake me up early because I had to run an errand for him. So like I got even less sleep than I usually do. So I like conked out for a nap, and then I had to come on stream. So You know, it's
I mean,
fine. I'm good. I have my water. It also it's really hot in this room. So
it's CinemaCon day. It's kind of hot where we both are. It's really hot. Today was a particularly hot day. But anyway,
I'm just gonna say this. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Summer and spring, dog shit seasons. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Autumn and winters where I already missed the cold.
Hey Michael.
I already missed the cold because I tell my mom, I'm like, if we don't put the AC on today, I'm going to like spend the entire day in my car. Like I would have streamed from my car. Like I'm just like, no, I'm not dealing with that shit.
I believe you. I definitely believe you. I mean, I was just gonna say, John. It's gonna be a long, fun, action-packed week with. Well, we're gonna have 2 panels tomorrow to talk about. Actually, we have 2 panels for today as well. Although Neon, you know, a bit of a smaller panel, so we're mostly gonna focus on the Warner Brothers panel. So, without further ado, of course, that's where we start today. The Warner Brothers CinemaCon panel just wrapped up. It's been about an hour now since they wrapped up, and we wanted to kind of take a bit of time to digest all the information because, you know, it was just packed with announcements on announcements and video packages and people showing up on stage. They had Tom Cruise in the house. They had Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdy right there in the house. We also got to see Peter Safran, Millie Alcock, Alejandro Inarritu, of course, Inarritu with Tom Cruise. They were both there promoting Digger. Nicole Kidman and well, I'm forgetting her name right. Sandra Bullock. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock closed out the panel. But you know, in between all of that, we got video messages from James Gunn. We got video message from Jack Black. You know, talking about the Minecraft movie and what's to come in a sequel. There's so much to get into. But John, the headline here we start off with is, of course, Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdy, who are the co-chairs of Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group. So that's kind of the umbrella under which you get everything. Warner Brothers Pictures, you get DC Studios. You also, of course, you know, get New Line Cinema, and we'll talk about it in a moment. We now have the name of that new label. Hello, Enterprising. The new label that they had announced but didn't give it a name. We know now what it's called. We'll talk about that in a moment. Very much a throwback to Stanley Kubrick, you know, which, of course, Warner Brothers is the house that Stanley Kubrick used to inhabit and maybe even partly built in a lot of ways. Michael Gutierrez. Yeah, the Clayface teaser. So here's the thing, to answer your question real quick, because we'll get into more detail about Clayface, Michael, but they showed footage at CinemaCon. That footage is not online yet. It was a teaser, but I have a feeling we're not going to get that publicly for a little while, much like a lot of the teasers we'll talk about. They did, how some of these will end up online. Like, for example, we'll go through this later in the show. Godzilla Minus Zero, that teaser from CinemaCon did drop online today. They showcased it yesterday for the audience. It did drop online today. So if there is a chance that Clayface teaser is to end up online, it will probably be no earlier than, you know, tomorrow, maybe, if not, you know, next week. But I have a feeling they'll hold on to that because right now they want to focus on Supergirl. So I wouldn't, yeah. Oh, yes. Lobo's bike and Lobo himself made an appearance. We will definitely get into that. Don't you worry. So yeah, Swag fan saying, I hope no one leaks the Clayface. Well, there's always a chance, but they literally tell you as many times necessary that you gotta, you know, the phones off policy. I mean, photos obviously still get out, but generally speaking, people are not allowed to be filming the stuff that's happening at this. Obviously, they have press there taking photos, so we do get official photos. You have the social team for CinemaCon themselves, you know, with Cinema United there posting on their account. Like, they did a whole wrap up of the day yesterday with all the Sony stuff. We'll talk about Jumanji, which we didn't even get to yesterday, later in the show, that they gave us the title of at the Sony panel. But John, talking about Warner Brothers, Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdy, they did talk about how last year they had 11 movies. This year they have 14 movies coming out, and then next year they have 18 movies. That's the film slate they're talking about. They kind of led the way on the night, and I'll just start there. What do you think about that number? I mean, 11, 14, and now 18. I will mention, just for context, we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago. They hired like a second SVP for production, meaning like another person who comes in and takes on the work of physical production, like getting these movies, actually the logistics and all that goes into it. So now they have like multiple people working on that. So they kind of bolstered that part of the department, and that's really been with the aim to release more movies. David Zaslav, in his first year at CinemaCon, now like a few years ago, when they were first bought into Warner Brothers, he came to CinemaCon and was like, we're gonna do 20 movies a year. They hadn't really reached that number. The closest they'll get to it is 18. It's just kind of ironic that by the time that happens, that David Zaslav might no longer be at Warner Brothers. But your thoughts on this? I mean, this is definitely like the most amount of movies a single studio will be releasing outside of, I think, Universal, which put out 20 last year. But I don't know if Universal is going to be following up with anything close to that number this year or the next.
Yeah, it's gonna be made fucking moot by Paramount, because if this merger goes through, which it most likely will, they're gonna get bought out, and I assume half of those movies are gonna get slashed, and they're gonna probably get canceled, outside of like the major IPs that Paramount wants to make money off of. So yeah, this literally means nothing. It's. I bet everybody in that audience was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, you're gonna definitely release 18 movies while you get bought out by fucking crybaby Ellison over here with Saudi Arabian money." So it's just, it literally means nothing now, because it's just that most of those movies are probably not going to be mainly all the original movies, obviously all the bigger movies like
Look,
Man of Tomorrow, and all the big IPs like Hunt for Gollum and all that shit. That's gonna get made because that's where the money is. Meanwhile, all like the bottom feeding low budget crap is probably gonna get booted, with maybe the exception of some horror movies, because those make a lot of money, because you can make a horror movie for $1 million and get like 20 times that in like opening weekend. So all the like smaller budgeted that aren't horror and mid budget stuff, that's gonna get tossed when when Paramount buys out Warner
look,
Brothers, so.
I want to say, look, here's the thing, to counter what you're saying. Next year's slate, I bet you that has the least impact from David Ellison and team. Now, I know that they came in and kind of got a lot of changes underway right away at Paramount, but Paramount is a much smaller studio relative to Warner Brothers in terms of the operations today. So I have a feeling that like part of what David Ellison has been promising, again, this is just my understanding of the situation, and so take it for what you will. I don't think they walk in the door and say, "Oh, Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, let's take, I don't know, like half of those projects and not do them." Not to mention, I mean, because Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi produced the most successful, or one of the most successful movie slates, certainly the most, promising, bold choices in the collection of movies, not playing it safe and having a lot of original movies last year, even more so than what we got from from Disney. I mean, Disney had the highest box office, but clearly Warner Brothers, had the slate that everybody was talking about, from Superman to Sinners to Weapons and Final Destination and everything in between. I don't think next year they're gonna go and be like 18. Oh, we can't do 18. You need the number to like. I think it's very important for David Ellison to, and it's very much in his interest to be like, if we can pull 18 from you, that means Paramount only needs to do 12. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to do more than 12, and if they can say, "Oh, look, we did like 30 plus already in the first year," like we're off. It's for their own PR sake, but also if you're planning on releasing 18 movies next year, that means those movies are all in some stage of production. I mean, even the movies that will be coming out late next year are probably about to enter production. Like, for example, the Batman Part 2 is going to enter production later this year. So, looking at projects, by the time David Ellison walks through the door officially, which would be, they're talking about potentially fourth quarter of this year, which could get extended if there's legal challenges. So there's no guarantee that Paramount ownership will be in place even by the time we turn the calendar into 2027. So to kind of belay the fears that people might have, when they said, like, this is Mike DeLuca himself at CinemaCon, he was saying, we have no intention of slowing down. He said that he started off by saying, this is what committing to originality can get you, and that does not happen without all of you. We want to thank you, the theater owners, for the incredible support that you have shown for our entire slate. And starting from there, he went on to say, look, because before they came on, there was this whole like video package of all the big hits from last year, including Minecraft, Weapons, Sinners, and all those, Superman. So then they came on, and in lieu of that, they were talking about or in light of that video package, that we have no intention of slowing down. And then DeLuca said, now it's 14 movies this year, and then in 2027 we are hopefully looking at 18. So I look at that number and I'm like, look, David Ellison's team is going to have the least amount of impact on next year's slate. So if they're aiming for 18, if there's less than 18 is because, you know, they have to delay some things because, I don't know, like you need reshoots, something doesn't work out, like things get delayed, an actor gets injured, so the movie doesn't finish filming on time. But I wouldn't say that number is going to be as affected by David Ellison and co, even if they do walk in the door fourth quarter of this year, because a lot of those movies will be so far along. Most of them will be either in production or in post-production by the time we get to, you know, the Christmas season this year. So yeah, I think 18 is ambitious. Like Universal did 20 last year, but there's not that many studios that have gone even close to that since the pandemic, even before the pandemic. Hey Steven, how are you doing? They did not mention the Batman Part 2, other than the fact that it's part of their slate for next year. So that's where we're starting off. But I mean, 18 movies is big. That's big. That's significant. And then when you add in Paramount's goal of doing 16, if they were to be able to meet that goal, then that's like 34 right there. But it's good to aim high, you know? So even because if they aim for 18 and give us 15, then that's it, you know, that's still pretty good, considering they're doing 14 this year and 11 last year. And if with 11 movies they achieve what they did last year, then I think with 14 and 18, you'd imagine they can, you know, certainly bring in a lot more money and give us more movies to enjoy at the box office for us fans. So yeah, I mean, quality matters, absolutely it matters, but I mean, obviously I think we've been talking about quantity has also been a problem at the box office. Like there's been months out of the year where there's no big movies coming out. People are not going to see the movies because there's nothing really there to see other than smaller indie pictures. What you need is big movies to anchor the weekend, and then people come in and they're like, oh, I saw that, I want to go see this other one which I didn't know existed. You need that hierarchy at the box office. You need, you know, a Supergirl to bring you to the theater, and then while you're watching Supergirl, you decide to watch the next horror movie that's out, that's, you know, something you never heard of. Or like right now, you go to see Project Hail Mary, you go to see Super Mario Galaxy, but then you're like, I didn't know there was a movie called Yumi and Tuscany that has the Little Mermaid actress and Regé-Jean Page, that hotness. Like, I want to go see that. So like, you know, you need that. And I think so that's the kind of ecosystem
we need that
they're
all
aiming
of us,
for.
because heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Which is what we will get to as we go through this conversation. Yeah, it's gonna be we're doing a double tonight too. Tier List Tuesday coming up after.
So this is gonna be like 5. So, I mean, you know, I'm gonna get a lot of money for tonight, so you know.
Yeah. Wait, Aussie Mungasa, is that like is that Manos time? Am I thinking like that username?
I think that's Manos time. Yeah.
Is that Manos? Okay. By the way, Liz is still perusing the streets of Paris, so I don't know if you've got in touch with her, but anyway. So she'll be back soon. But so just to give you an overview of the DC, we'll talk about DC in a second. But DC's panel last year featured James Gunn, and you know, they had Nicholas Hoult, they had Rachel Brosnahan, they had David Cornsweet, and Peter Safran all there. Of those 5 people, only Peter Safran was there this year because the other 4 are about to get ready to film. Well, not about to, they are getting ready to start filming not Superman, but Man of Tomorrow. And a quick little nugget, when Peter Safran came out to talk about, he introduced Clayface, but before he did, he mentioned that he's excited to announce Man of Tomorrow starts production next week. So they're rolling cameras next week on Man of Tomorrow. So that was, you know, exciting. But the DC part this year definitely, you know, was a slightly smaller because, you know, James Gunn's not there. And I mean, while they had Millie Alcock and Lobo, which we'll talk about in a moment, and, you know, they showed footage for both of this year's movies. It's, you know, I think next year will feel a little bit bigger relative to this year, because they'll have a Batman movie and a movie featuring Superman. It's just, you know, like those are 2 bigger properties. So anyway, John, let's keep going. We gotta, we gotta keep the ball rolling. So this is the other thing. So I wanted to touch upon this because I think it's definitely significant. Like I mentioned before, Warner Brothers, obviously you have Warner Brothers Pictures, they have that, they have New Line Cinema, they have Warner Brothers Animation, they have DC Studios, but then remember they brought in those guys, I think from A24, was it? Like a bunch of guys that they kind of pulled across, and they were like, we're gonna let you guys do your thing at Warner Brothers. And this was Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdy sort of doing this, and And hi Kevin. And essentially, and the Watcher's here. Hello Watcher. And essentially what they said was we're gonna create a new label, a new like studio within the larger Warner Brothers Pictures group that's designed to make like more mid-budget, lower budget films that are gonna use a lot of good, viral marketing techniques that like a lot of horror movies, like say Smile, used and stuff, where you're not spending as much money to market the movie, but it's very effective and it's aimed at a younger audience. These movies, kind of like think about like A24, edgy prestige movies, stuff like that. Warner Brothers wants their own version of that, like their own neon A24 Bleecker Street kind of thing. So now we finally have a name for it, John. I want to get your reaction to this. They're calling it Warner Brothers Clockwork, or simply Clockwork, which very much to me feels like a callback to Stanley Kubrick. But go ahead.
Right.
Clockwork Orange. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to have, because I know a bunch of other studios kind of have that like prestige kind of, like studio, like Universal has like Focus Features.
Yep.
Sony has Sony Pictures Classic.
TriStar is another one that they have. Sony has actually multiple labels.
Yeah, I mean they got
Amazon,
Columbia, TriStar. They have so much for that.
I mean, Amazon MGM even, they brought back the United Artists label, and that's how they got hold of the Highlander movie, if I'm right. Like I think that
something like that.
There's like go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of nice. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the logo kind of looks like the
Clockwork Orange.
The like Clockwork Orange. So yeah, it's definitely there, and I think that's kind of a nice tribute callback to, one of the many directors that made Warner Brothers the director's studio way back when. So
yeah,
and it makes sense that the first movie is the Oscar winner from 2 years ago. So might as well start off with him and go on from there. And I think that's great.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Highlander picks tomorrow. There's so much to get into, but Monique, don't you worry, we have our eye on those. Yeah, Sean Baker, Tiamo, he picked up 4 Oscar trophies for Anora. He's got this famous photo with like the hold them all together, if you will. But it looks like Tiamo is releasing globally in 2027. So one of those 18 movies that Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi have talked about. So yes, that does again diversify, the just these different like production units or studios that they have within the larger motion picture group. So that was good to hear. I'm looking forward to seeing, like, it feels like a play on TikTok as well. TikTok, or I guess TikTok would feel like a play on Clockwork, but anyway. John, let's move on from that, because then of course they had like the I guess the last Hollywood superstar on the floor earlier, on the red carpet, and then of course Alejandro G. Inarritu and Tom Cruise took the stage, and they talked all about Digger. In fact, they showed some new footage for the movie, calling it another kind of fearless. And yeah, I mean the trailer, I'll just kind of read a little bit of what they have on this Deadline article. The trailer that they showed, which I don't believe is online yet.
It is not.
So the description in Deadline, they're talking about, in the trailer we find balding, big-bellied industrialist Digger Rockwell meeting with a doctor about his cat, and who he's told has either 2 weeks or 5 minutes to live. Later, speaking in a southern accent, swinging baseball bass in pajamas, he yells at himself, saying, "Hustle is something you sorely lack, you lazy piece of shit." A scientist then speaks with him on Zoom about something Digger keeps calling a 5-foot crack, and compares to the size of his penis. What do you want me to do, Digger asks. Shut down $1 billion platform over something 1/10 of the size of my dick? We learned that Digger has brought on some kind of environmental disaster via his business activities, compromising the structural integrity of the entire ice shelf. Wow, okay. President John Goodman plays the POTUS in this movie, explores the quote-unquote worst-case scenario, the disaster that would displace millions and cause trillions in economic impact, but assures his staffers, Digger got us into this, and Digger is going to dig us out. Panic is a resource, Digger says later in the trailer. Panic wakes people up. So yeah, I mean, Patton Oswalt walked onto the stage toward the beginning of this presentation, and he had a showgirls on both sides of him, and then he kind of joked about like he would love to join the DC universe, and then from there, Tom Cruise came on stage, and Inarritu came on stage. Apparently Tom Cruise got on, he was so excited about this project when he first started working with Inarritu on this years ago. He literally just like in the middle of the night got on the bike that he has from Top Gun Maverick and just like drove to like have a conversation. And then at the panel he called the movie Ni Plus Ultra, which whatever that means, wild and funny, saying the kind of movie is why this is the kind of movie that I want to make movies. So John, your thoughts on that trailer, description, and John Goodman, Patton Oswalt.
Right.
This looks wild.
This looks fucking insane. Like, Inarritu is a director who I respect more so than I like. I admire him and his fucking strange eye for films. Like, I really liked Birdman. Didn't really care for Revenant all that much. And I don't know if I've seen I don't know if I've seen anything else from him, but this looks fucking like this I'm sorry, this just sounds like Les Grossman too, Electric Boogaloo. Like this sounds like the most we will get from a Les Grossman spinoff is this movie. Like I feel like Tom Cruise like tapped into that. I know he said that they're working on it, they're gonna try and get off the ground. But this is the closest I think for a while that we're ever gonna get to a Les Grossman spinoff, because this has that feeling of like Digger Rockwell has this character, like that character has that feel all over it. And then on top of the fact, like Digger Rockwell sounds like ironically Sam Rockwell's character from the end of Galaxy Quest, where he's like a new character and he's security chief Rock Ingersoll. I'm like, that's like the type of name that Digger Rockwell is. And I don't know, that's like the first thing I thought of. But yeah, this looks fucking weird, insane. I love the poster. It looks great. And then, you're gonna have a lot of people mispronouncing that title. And it's gonna be not a great time for that, but like it still looks like a good movie. So
I mean, look, at Cannes when Inarritu was talking about it, he called the movie a wild comedy of catastrophic proportions.
A comedy of catastrophic proportions, and that's what was with the title announcement a while back. When you have where this is from, where he looks like he's gonna worship a shovel or something. And it's just like, I love it. It's just like he's wearing cowboy boots with basketball shorts and he's balding. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. This sounds amazing. It sounds like a hell of a good time, like Enterprising is saying. Absolutely. Inarritu, what he said about the movie at the panel was he called a film about a character, about Digger, who is who basically has this uncontrollable delusional need to control things even when we know that we will fail. A powerful man who did not change the world, but changed the way people see the world. And then of course they talked about how they shot the movie in VistaVision, which looks interesting. And I guess yeah, I mean it is going to be a theatrically released movie, and hopefully we'll be playing in theaters for a few months before it ever ends up anywhere else for us to see online or at home. But Inarritu he's been thoroughly impressed with Tom Cruise throughout this process, and just keeps on saying like, I was impressed, like he blew me away every day, was not prepared for that. And while Tom Cruise is known for a lot of the stunt works that he's been doing with the Mission Impossible movies and everything else that he does, Top Gun Maverick and whatnot, this movie feels like it's a very different kind of, according to Inarritu, like fearless energy that Tom Cruise brings in, because like you said, John, it feels like a Les Grossman, spinoff, if there was ever going to be one, which I hope they still make one of those. I mean, now that Paramount, Warner Brothers might be, all under the same roof, it makes it even more likely, I'd imagine. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Inarritu called it a high wire act, and I guess we'll get to see what that means, because they might be taking that literally.
Yeah, but
I
this
love the
was
fact
more
that he's
of
like
a-
he's told by a vet that his cat's got between what did it say, like between 2 weeks and 5 minutes.
to
I'm
live.
like, that's that's the kind of movie we're in for. So I'm excited about that. This sounds great. And Tom Cruise looking good. He's still
You're
rocking
putting
the
me
slightly
to you're
longer
putting me to
halo.
shame, Watcher. I watched 26 years of television in a year, but I think you definitely got an over on me with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
but yeah, this
this
was
looks
like kind of
impressive.
so if you want to just look at the rundown of like what this then you can, go to the wrap
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and look at it there. But yeah, the fucking
Yep.
crazy, bro.
2 weeks and 5 minutes. That's a wild, like, okay, you either got 2 weeks. I mean, like, what do you need to do a scan? Like, can we narrow that down a little bit? Because 5 minutes, you might as well just stick around in the office and see if the cat's still around in 5 minutes. So, but yeah, yep. A digging
Anyway.
facility who's wait, hold on. Digger is called by a man at a digging facility who is concerned about a 5-foot crack. Digger says it's no big deal, but argues that it's not a problem. Yeah, yep, it's gonna be interesting. This movie looks crazy. Anyway, let's keep on going, John. We gotta talk about Lord of the Rings, because we now know. Oh, hello, Movie Spud. How are you doing? We now know who's gonna be playing Aragorn. It is gonna be Jamie Dornan. He's taken over the role of Aragorn, and of course, Leo Woodall has also joined the movie. John,
Leo Woodall was in contention for Aragorn, so that's interesting how he
it is.
Didn't get the role, but Jamie Dornan.
Yeah, so it looks like Jamie Dornan will be playing Strider, and of course an alias being used by Aragorn in this movie. And then Leo Woodall, like you said, he was in consideration for the same role, but he's going to end up playing Halvard. So yeah, Viggo Mortensen no more in the role, and it's gonna be. I feel like Jamie Dornan is a good pick. Like, I don't know, what do you think? Do you feel like he can?
I think that's a
step into
very
those
good
shoes?
pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
better than this fucking guy. Like, no offense to him, but I think Jamie Dornan's a better actor, and he definitely has the vibe of Aragorn more so than Leo does. So that's saying something, I think.
yeah, and you know what? They were talking. They had, this was a big part of the presentation at CinemaCon today, and I was talking about how New Line, yesterday has been more marginalized in terms of like the Warner Brothers Pictures Group, and they mostly do horror movies. But Lord of the Rings is like the crown jewel that New Line has had. That was the big franchise in the 2000s, and so getting back to that now, of course, the Hobbit trilogy. It feels like it was a few years ago, but it's been like a decade since they did those. So getting back to Middle Earth, this is going to be big for them. Again, they're hoping to do more than one of these. They also have that Colbert Rent movie, but it does look like we have a few more. We have a few more returning characters as well. John, I think we actually have go to the cast link, because we can go through the confirmed cast now. Because Andy Serkis is back playing Gollum. Obviously, he's directing the movie as well. So Gollum, he's gonna voice the character of Gollum. Ian McKellen, till he's 90, back playing Gandalf. Then of course Kate Winslet, we know, is playing Mangol. Or Marigal, sorry, Marigal. Wow. Jamie Dornan is playing Strider, aka Aragorn. Leo Woodall playing Halvard. Halvard? I think that's how you say that, right? And then Lee Pace, John. He's of course currently in Foundation on Apple TV. Was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's gonna be in the movie as well. How do you say that character's name? Like, how do you pronounce like?
I think Thranduil. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Thranduil is Thranduil. Okay, so he's playing. Lee Pace is playing Thranduil, and then Elijah Wood, of course, we know, is returning as Frodo. He's been very public about that he wants to keep playing the role as long as he's alive. So, your reaction to this, because that looks like an impressive cast. Hey, Geek Ledger, how you doing, man?
The biggest question I have for this movie is: will Elijah Wood wear wigs? Will he wear wigs?
Aragorn.
Come on now. Fuck you guys for not getting that reference. Come on now. Will he wear wigs? That's the big thing. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Lee Pace did play the same character like Geek Ledger just mentioned in the Hobbit movies, so he's gonna continue to play Thranduil. So there you go. Hi, Filmologia. Yeah, I mean, John, like Kate Winslet, Lee Pace. Now you got, I mean, obviously Andy Serkis is back, and you've got Elijah Wood, but then you have the new blood. You got Leo Woodall, you got Jamie Dornan in there. That's a pretty stacked cast. That's impressive to me. That looks like a
Mm-hmm.
movie that I would want to go see. Uh, so yes, it is pronounced Aragorn. Thank you, Watcher, for that. But the question Filmology is asking is a good one. I think let's just kind of talk about that for a minute before we move forward. And the question he was asking, or they were asking, is, do you think Andy Serkis is the right choice for this movie? I mean, he doesn't have a very extensive resume as a director, but I mean, obviously he's
I mean,
playing
he
Gollum, and
directed the
he's,
worst Venom movie.
you know,
I heard Mowgli was pretty good, and then you have that upcoming
I
Animal
did
Farm
enjoy
movie,
that.
which does not look good. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about Aegon's Quest before. That's the Stephen Colbert movie, I believe. That's the one he's writing. So,
No, Aegon's
yes.
Quest is Game of Thrones.
Sorry. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm confusing my two. Yes, but remember that was the same day we were talking about both Colbert's new Lord of the Rings movie and Aegon's Quest, and there was like a new spin-off series. Anyway, yes, but I don't believe they talked about that tonight though, unless I'm missing anything. The Game of Thrones, they're usually only focused on movies that are coming out, within the next 12 to 18 months. So, and Hunt for Gollum comes out, next year, I'm pretty sure. So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, look, he knows the franchise. Like Andy Serkis knows this franchise about as well as anybody, and uh, Peter Jackson is involved as a producer. He was part of the announcements, and much like he was part of the Colbert Lord of the Rings announcement. So I don't think. I don't think it'll be a problem. Look, ultimately, every movie fails or succeeds on its own merit. So we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. But yeah, this is exciting. Good stuff. I mean, yeah, we go from not well. We haven't gone to DC yet. We go from Digger to Lord of the Rings, and now, John, let's talk about Evil Dead Burn, which
Finally, some good fucking food. Jesus Christ. Enough of
uh,
these fucking shitty Lord of the Rings sequels that aren't gonna amount to fucking crap. Now we're getting into good franchises here that have all great movies, except for the remake, but we don't talk about that. This,
but more New
this I
Line
love.
stuff. Yeah.
This I love. Okay. This is brilliant. I love this. Okay.
I mean, John, family reunions can be bloody scary, right?
Yeah. So Evil Dead Burn, bloody first footage from Warner Brothers family is the root of all evil. But while the film's plot has been kept under wraps up until this point, a trailer unveiled today exclusively for those at CinemaCon is full of living dead chainsaws, plenty of blood, fingers hacked off. My sweet boy, I would give anything for us to be together again, and a sarcastic cheers to your perfect family. WB host for the presentation, Patton Oswalt, stressed this was a very early look at the trailer with unfinished and rough shots, and the filmmakers added an extra disturbing to it. This is filled with fucking like typos. I guess they tried to.
Well, I mean, they're working on this pretty fast, but yeah,
Yeah.
basically, Patton Oswalt talked about how what they showed, the teaser trailer, as it were, it's mostly unfinished shots, so it's not like, I mean, they're pretty early on in this.
By the way,
so
I have seen
yes.
Infested. Very good
Yeah.
movie, by the way. Very good movie.
Yeah, I mean, this one is being directed by Sebastian
Vanacek, yes.
Vanacek. So, and
it's a French filmmaker, I believe.
Yeah, and the movie comes out July 24th of this year, so it's coming out. I believe that ends up being, what is it? Is that the same week? No, that's not. It's like a month after Supergirl, but it's roughly the same weekend as Superman last year. So a year after Superman, literally almost. But yeah, I mean, Infested, like you said, that's what he directed before getting into this, which was which was a big movie at Cannes last year. But anyway, your thoughts on this, Sean? I mean, they didn't show anything that was finished footage. Obviously, it looks like they're still, working on post-production and whatnot. But are you going to be going to see? Thank you for the super sticker, Enterprise.
Yeah, going to be seeing this on fucking opening day. Hell yeah, I'm excited for this because in terms of the mainline franchise, the Evil Dead franchise has not disappointed me yet. Obviously, the original trilogy of films was amazing. Ash vs. the Evil Dead, also great, even though it got unceremoniously canceled by Stars. Fuck you, Stars. And then Evil Dead Rise was excellent. I don't really like the remake very much. It's not a... It's a bad Evil Dead movie, but like a decent horror film. So, that's something, I guess. But it's just not I just don't like a lot of what they did with that. But Evil Dead Rise, I was like, this Lee Cronin understood the assignment, and I hope that Sebastian Vanacek, again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, is also of that, because Evil Dead Wrath is like started filming already, like the next one, and this isn't even out yet, so that's saying something. but but yeah, I think this looks awesome. So it definitely has like a familial vibe, kind of like what Evil Dead Rise has, but it feels like they're doubling down on that aspect. So yeah, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited.
can't. This looks very interesting. Not my particular genre, but I mean, look, this is why the presentation is. It takes a couple of hours to go through, pretty much every movie that's coming out over the next year and a half. So yeah, uh, I mean, Warner Brothers off to a slower start, but that's what happened last year. But I mean, I'm sure it's gonna pick up. Obviously, we're working towards Supergirl. They got a impressive slate in the summer months. But yeah, Geek Ledger asking, they haven't really watched a lot of horror movies in a while, stopped watching around late 2000s because you got into superhero and sci-fi stuff. Any suggestions, John, for Geek Ledger to get back into the horror genre?
Oh, I would say anything by Robert Eggers or Mike Flanagan and Osgood Perkins. Those are probably my three favorite, not only horror filmmakers, but filmmakers, period. I think Zach Krieger. I mean, Barbarian is a weirder one, but I think I would say watch Weapons more so because that's the better movie.
Right.
Nothing else is coming to mind right now, but like I'm kind of drawing a blank. But like there's been a lot of really good ones. A lot of but from mid 2000s. Yeah, there's a lot. Like
I don't know if you've seen Shutter Island. I will always recommend that as somebody who's not really a big horror fan. I
yeah,
think
Shutter
that's a good
Island's
one.
really
You know,
good.
yeah.
But there's Get Out. Anything by Jordan Peele is another good example. But then because I just want to make sure I'm coming up with like good suggestions here. So hang on, I'm gonna look up on my letterbox. I mean, like the ones that came out this year already, like Iron Lung was really good, and then you have like the 28 Years Later, you got Sinners.
Yeah.
You have there's a lot of like any the recent Ty West trilogy, the Maxine trilogy, that was also of X, Pearl, and Maxine. All those three of those varying degrees of quality, but all very good. Yeah, Long Legs is another great one. I didn't particularly care for it, but a lot of people like Strange Darling. You might like that one. Then the movie I was just talking about, Infested, the one that Evil Dead Burn, the director is doing that, so I would say watch that. I would say Annihilation is a good, although that's more like sci-fi, but
yeah.
Alex Garland did a really good job with that. I really liked Annihilation.
You know what? We
Watch
will
Out's a
be
good
getting
one
to
if you
the
want a Christmas horror movie.
Adria
It's like
Arjona
more like
casting
Christmas
later.
horror comedy, but Tucker and Dale
Yeah.
versus Evil, another good, really horror comedy. But yeah, the It movies, those were good. 10 Cloverfield Lane was really good. The Ritual was great. Not the one with Dan Stevens, the one that was by David Bruckner. That was really good, along with one of his other movies, The Night House. That was really good. Conjuring, I mean, I like the first two fine. They're like more like popcorn, like
I saw The
mainstream
Nun, and it was
movies.
really bad.
I really
I was not impressed.
Another movie that came out earlier this year was Undertone. I thought it was great. Most people don't really care for it, but I still recommend it if you want to see something that's good.
Well, let's get back to the
anyway.
CinemaCon stuff, because we still have a lot to get into. In fact, we got to get to the Dune Part 2. I mean, they showed some of that new J.J. Abrams Great Beyond movie as well. So I think the next one that we want to get into let's talk about, this was like, I think the last thing that they really, for the most part talked about on the panel, which was Practical Magic 2. Of course, it's the sequel to Practical Magic. and you get to see Nicole Kidman. I mean, Nicole Kidman, both Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman were there. And yeah, they're coming back to do a sequel years later.
I
So
had
another
never
legacy
even
sequel.
heard of Practical Magic
Um,
before this was announced. So
but you know, they were kind of, again, it's the whole, like, we all know about the Nicole Kidman AMC ad. So when they popped on stage there, Sandra Bullock just, like, you know, asked Nicole Kidman, like, hey, why do we come here, Nicole? And then Nicole Kidman was like, we come to this place for magic. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be the sequel to the 1998 romantic fantasy movie Practical Magic. And uh yeah, I mean, they didn't have a ton for us, but, like, yeah, both of the actors talked about the movie, saying that we should expect midnight margaritas, jumping off the roof, and to also have our past catching up with us. Kidman said we have our destinies in the family. I think is going to be really, really fun. And it felt like, coming back to a home that we once lived in. That's what Sandra Bullock said. And they did actually apparently rebuilt the original house on the cliff from the first movie. And then, yeah, I mean, they've got some new characters, some old characters. And yeah, I mean, they're bringing back, I guess, the feel of that 90s movie, which is the goal here. But the movie is going to reintroduce both the characters. Sandra Bullock plays Sally, and Nicole Kidman plays she plays Jillian Owens, and they're both part of a multi-generation family of witches. And now I'm sure you kind of understanding, like, where this is going. But they're both cursed to be loveless for centuries, and they're attempting to break the spell. And from there,
because they're like, fuck you, we need
on.
some dick, so we're gonna get it. All right, eat it. All right. So you know what? We can be magic and be whores. All right, fuck it. I don't care, and they're gonna go for it. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, Lee Pace is also in this movie. So the trailer that they showed us, it starts off with, like, a cup stirring itself, and then we hear Lee Pace's character say, "Everyone we love dies a really horrible death. It's not great for the Tinder bio." So like, of course, updating for the modern day. But yeah, there's romance, there's family, there's magic, mayhem, new generations. The Coconut song is, like, the soundtrack to the trailer. And we do get to see Joey King as one of the daughters of Sandra Bullock's character. So there we go. Griffin Dunne directed the original movie, which was the adaptation of Alice Hoffman's 1995 novel. And then, of course, this time around, Susan Bayer, who directed Bird Box with Sandra Bullock and The Perfect Couple, she's coming back. She's coming in to do this one. Akiva Goldsman, who co-wrote the original film, did come back to write this one as well. And yeah, it includes Diane West or Wiest. Diane Wiest.
Diane Wiest. It's like Wiest? I thought you said yeah.
Wiest? Anyway, yeah. Diane Wiest and Stockard Channing, as well as Maisie Williams, Joel Dueña, and Salah McLeod are all in this movie. And of course, you got the returning Denise Dinovi. The movie comes out September 11th of this year. So remember when they changed around the Clayface
So two tragedies are going to come out in that day. Ayo.
No. Remember they switched the release date. So Clayface was
No, I know.
Right. Okay.
Bad
Sorry.
joke. Anyway.
Right,
but
okay.
we're all human. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we might be getting a Pace-a-thon. Lee Pace looks like he's gonna be in several. I mean, although the Lord of the Rings movie Hunt for Gollum doesn't come out till next year. Wait, is that the other one that we were talking about? Lee Pace? What's the other movie we just spent? Yeah.
No,
so, like,
no. He's Thrawn Derail or whatever the fuck you pronounce.
Yeah. Thrawn.
Whatever. Who cares?
Thrawn Duel. Anyway, that's next year.
I'm done talking about this. So. Anyway, thank God. Okay, finally some good food again. Here we go. Mortal Kombat 2, Johnny Cage and Baraka fight scene in CinemaCon sneak peek. So I'll read this one. Liu Kang tries to challenge Baraka to one-on-one combat, but Baraka fuses. Johnny then insults Baraka, calling him out for cowardice and saying he needs to face Liu Kang, the world's greatest warrior. Baraka then accepts the challenge, not against Liu Kang, but against Johnny. Johnny asks, "Me? What did I do?" Yeah. Everyone on Johnny's team agrees that he's probably going to die. Baraka then starts a challenge coming after Johnny, who dodges his attacks and asks his friends for a weapon. They don't have one to give. Johnny flees into a hut with children who have similar razor-tooth faces to Baraka. Baraka then enters the hut, and the children rat out Johnny's hiding place. Johnny attempts to fight Baraka with a staff, which quickly breaks in against his razors, which was what we saw in the trailer.
Right.
Baraka then throws Johnny through the ceiling of the hut, and Johnny falls into another hut. Johnny's teammates tell him this would be a stupid way to die, and that you're an actor, so act. Johnny picks his sunglasses up off the ground and says, "It's showtime." Johnny starts to fight again, this time with renewed confidence and cockiness. He dodges all of Baraka's attacks, as seen in the trailer, and begins landing some punches. He then starts repeatedly dodging several attacks in slow motion before doing the splits, and using the petition to punch Baraka in the crotch, effectively winning the fight. The action is fluid and fun, and Carl Urban's personality shines through as Johnny Cage. And so we get confirmation that, yes, Johnny Cage does use his finishing move just like in the games, so that's awesome to see. Although I hope he's shirtless, because you gotta make sure it's accurate. So yeah, but that sounds awesome. I can't wait for Mortal Kombat 2. Can't wait for Street Fighter. Both look like fun times.
Isn't Street Fighter only weeks? I feel like it's a lot closer. The Mortal Kombat comes out later in the year, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, switch. Mortal Kombat comes out in May, and then May 1st, I think, and then Street Fighter doesn't come out until like October, I think, September or October.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that'll be here before we know it. So, yeah, that looks
okay. So Mortal Kombat 2 comes out May 15th. And then Street Fighter comes out October 16th.
Oh, okay. So it is the okay. All right. So got it. Cool. All right. Awesome. Yeah. That. John, we got to talk about popcorn buckets now. Of course. Not only do I love. They're just really leaning into the classic soundtrack from the 90s for all of the marketing, but the Shao Kahn popcorn bucket is one I might be collecting this year. That looks epic. Like, obviously CinemaCon is, a big part of CinemaCon is like, it's all the theatrical distributors, but at the same time, you get like other vendors that will make stuff like the popcorn buckets and other concessions that you get at the movies. They're also there at CinemaCon, presenting and showcasing the latest. And as part of that, we now have first looks at the popcorn buckets, John. If you scroll down here, it looks like the Shao Kahn mask is going to be taking center stage. That looks pretty effing cool. That's one worth keeping around. I mean, they got like a British boxer who's like gonna be behind the mask in the movie. So yeah. But yeah, Martin Ford, he's like 6'8". Wow. So this looks great. I think they have a few other photos of this. This is big. This is like a large popcorn bucket, and then they've got like an old arcade.
I mean, it's not as big as popcorn bucket. The Herbie popcorn bucket, but
nothing is as big as that. Although the volume of that is probably less.
It's probably
the Herbie
not that
one
big, but yeah.
Because like I feel like the Herbie like was not like, if you had got a large bucket of popcorn, you couldn't fit that amount of popcorn in Herbie.
No, definitely not. So, you probably can't even fit a small in there, and they don't even offer smalls anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But there's that one. Then there's like the one that looks like an arcade version of Mortal Kombat. I like that one too. And then they've got like a clapper slate, which is great. That's actually pretty cool. Like, you got a little clapper. It's very narrow, but
Johnny Cage. Anyway, and then you have the drink.
Yes.
And this looks really. I would get all of these, but this
the logo
is for
one
Cinemark
is nice.
and Regal specifically. I think the clapper is specifically Cinemark, and this one is going to be at AMC theaters and Cinemark. This one, don't think it says it. But yeah, so those are all the available popcorn buckets that you will be getting when Mortal Kombat 2 comes out. So hell yeah. Let's go.
Yep. So it looks like the Shao Kahn one, the I Am Shao Kahn, that's gonna be at Mark, AMC, and Regal. So that's gonna be like the big one that you can get across pretty much all of the different big theater chains. Cool. I can't wait for this movie, and everything about the marketing for this has just been amazing. But anyway, John, before we get to we're gonna like basically save the Supergirl Clayface for a moment. I did want to talk about a couple other movies before we get there. Let's talk about the J.J. Abrams movie, The Great Beyond. We got a first look at the movie. Of course, this one stars Jenna Ortega, Glenn Powell. We didn't really know much about this, but J.J. Abrams, this is his first movie that he's directed since The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. And he talked about, so he was on stage, he talked about how, like, I love franchises, but he felt like he needed to get back to telling original stories. And obviously, we have talked about recently that Bad Robot has really downsized a lot in recent years. They've kind of just sold off their LA office and moved back to a smaller operation in New York, which is where J.J. Abrams lives now. But we didn't really know much about this movie until today. And
because
it looks
J.J.
like
Abrams has to do his mystery box horse shit. Like,
Yeah.
if I keep the movie secretive enough, that'll definitely make people interested. It won't. You still directed The Rise of Skywalker, so
Well, well, I mean, look, J.J. Abrams obviously is one of those guys who he's been very open about. Like, Steven Spielberg was a big inspiration for him growing up. I mean, Matt Reeves is a big friend. It's just gonna be
Super 8
interesting. I
being
know
a fucking like remake of E.T.
I know.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is it's going to be interesting to see J.J. Abrams putting out a movie that like is an original story at the same year as Disclosure Day, right? It's like you're going up against, not directly up against your idol, but you're seeing like your idol put out probably what's going to be one of his better works. Hopefully, I'm really excited about Disclosure Day. But now, The Great Beyond, it looks like it's going to be about a young newlywed couple that are struggling to survive against a supernatural entity. So kind of Cloverfield-esque, maybe, I don't know. It looks like, so they gave us a bit of a first look, and it starts on one of those older 90s computers, and we see a scene where somebody's typing out an H.G. Wells like iconic quote where it says, "There is, though I do not know how there is, or how it may be, another world out of sight and sound." So kind of, again, like Stranger Things, Spielberg, 80s vibe.
I immediately got Twilight Zone. Not a world of sight and sound, but of mind. Like that.
That's also, yes, that's another great shout. Yeah. So
this is the Twilight Zone, where J.J. Abrams is an actually decent filmmaker. Just kidding. Not in the entire multiverse. Is that true?
Yeah. But there is a voiceover again. I mean, speaking of Twilight Zone, there's a voiceover in this first look where you hear the voice saying, "The world you think you know the limits of, you can't even begin to fathom." So yeah, I mean, this is an original script that J.J. Abrams wrote, so it is very much like something that he developed from the ground up. It comes out November 13th. We also have Emma Mackey in this movie, Sophia Okenoto, and Merritt Weaver, and Samuel L. freaking Jackson is in this one. So yeah, I don't know, John. This alongside, so this is obviously a Bad Robot movie, but then Bad Robot also is producing another movie. Remember the End of Oak Street? The one with Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, that comes out August 14th. That's also another Bad Robot movie, and that's going to be coming out in the summer. And that was part of the presentation today too. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, your thoughts on this? I mean, I personally like the sound of the End of Oak Street. That trailer was, I watched it the other day. That trailer was crazy.
Here's the thing, like, I like the idea of it. But it's just like Anne Hathaway just looks like she's trying way too hard. And it's just like, what the fuck performance are you giving right now? It's just like, it's like she's like constipated. It's like, our street is not our street anymore. It's like, bro, like, Anne, you're honey pie. You're a better actress. Why the fuck are you like straining right now? I think you need some magnesium citrate, just like clean you out a little bit, and like maybe go back to acting then. Like, holy shit! It's just like it was so like unsettling, but not in a good way. It was unsettling. Like, okay, do you need to like take a shit or something? Because that's what it feels like right now.
I mean, I will say, look, it's a trailer, so who knows? Maybe in the context of the movie, it makes more sense. I don't know. I'm still excited about it because I that's kind of like that kind of a movie's right up my alley. The Great Beyond also sounds interesting. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Super 8 because, like you said, it kind of felt like very derivative of other better movies.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I will see. This comes out in November. It's going to be a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, so we'll have to just wait and find out. And then hopefully they'll put out a teaser trailer or what, the footage that they showed publicly, because I think you need to build some hype around this. This isn't one of those movies that people are going to be like, "Oh, J.J. Abrams is doing something." Like, J.J. Abrams doesn't really pull an audience the way that maybe he did like 10 plus years ago. So
Yeah,
anyway,
after ruining the Star Wars franchise, that kind of does it to somebody.
yeah. But anyway, let's go to the next one, because before we get to Clayface and Supergirl, we got to talk about the other
How you
really big
doing? How you doing, baby? Let's go.
the other really big Warner Brothers movie, probably the other biggest Warner Brothers movie coming out this year, is Dune Part 3. It's going to come out the same day, the same weekend as Avengers Doomsday, December 18th. And well, they brought Timothée Chalamet, they brought Zendaya. I mean, Jason Momoa even went backstage and changed into a whole different outfit. And Denis Villeneuve, they were all on stage for this one. In fact, Denis Villeneuve walked on stage and they had like a whole army of Fremen on stage. So they had like this whole, so they went all out for this, obviously. But
pulling out all the stops, baby. Let's go.
exactly. I mean, not quite Black Adam descending from the heavens, trying to change the hierarchy of the DCU.
Oh god. No, no.
But they did show a new clip from the movie.
It was the beginning of the movie. It was the opening, yeah.
Yeah, so, there was a chant, "God be with us," before heading into battle and all that, and yeah, I like the line from that where obviously the returning Duncan Idaho tells Paul Atreides that he's way beyond redemption after essentially becoming a destroyer of worlds. So I was kind of curious, like, where
never started a war.
Yeah, like where Duncan Idaho lies in this like whole situation, considering the man died, in the first movie. But yeah, this looks great. John, I don't know, what do you think about the hype behind this film? That I feel like this is the beginning of a big marketing campaign for this. So yeah,
I'm excited for it.
By the way, they did explain that it's 17 years later from like the second movie, so there is that obviously significant time jump. So yeah, which if anybody wasn't aware of, now Villeneuve did say the film is a redemption story, but still the heartbeat of the film is that the love story between Chani and Paul, but more of a broken love story. So that's interesting. So I don't know how you make it a redemption story. But Timothée Chalamet said that Paul Atreides becomes his worst vision, and he's struggling to figure out how to protect those he loves while becoming the all-powerful Dark Emperor of the universe. And then Zendaya added, saying the years don't seem to have been kind to anyone in Dune. It's been a really difficult, challenging, ungentle, and unkind few years, though there's so much left still to fight for. But yeah, I mean, Chani's in a very different place in her life where that youthful outlook is completely gone. So, obviously 17 years changes you. That's like,
yet somehow everybody looks exactly the same.
Does that de-aging stuff work backwards? Like, can they like use the same technology to age them up 17 years? Like an Irishman, when they age them down 20 years, and maybe they can age people up. Maybe that's the next frontier of VFX technology, But yeah, I mean, they're done with the movie pretty much at this point, so they're still in post-production. But yeah, I mean, Denis Villeneuve has spent the better part of the last decade working on this, so I can imagine, like, there were some tears in eyes and stuff when they were wrapping up filming. And yeah, Chalamet called Denis Villeneuve the real Paul Atreides, which I don't know if that should be taken as a compliment, considering the story of Paul Atreides. But of course, John, my thing was calling it a redemption story is a little weird. Like, is that hinting at maybe some of the changes that Villeneuve might be making to how this whole saga ends? I don't know. What do you care to speculate on that?
I feel like that's not the story. I don't know the exact story of Dune, but I don't think Paul ever gets redemption for what he does. I mean, he literally becomes like the evil emperor of the universe, and like, you know, he becomes
But
like
there's not
the
meant to be a
darkest,
redemption in the book, you
yeah,
know?
the
Like
darkest
it's
thing. That was like the whole thing. He like eventually
yeah,
fucking dies, and then he
it's
becomes a like he's known as like a piece of shit that started a reckless war that across the universe. It's like can't really redeem yourself from that, bro. Like what?
like that to me that does maybe hint at the how they finish off the story, because that might actually change what you can do moving forward, because like if he finds some I mean, I guess maybe you can walk the line, the whatever way he finds redemption, he might still end up like in it, like you could maybe still continue on with like future, well, the other books from, you know, the series, but I don't know. That's interesting. That to me was like something that probably flew under the radar. Maybe not for the, if you were a fan of the books, that definitely didn't fly under the radar for you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how redemption figures into on all of that. So, yeah, senseless wars, yeah, very relevant today. Or like John was saying the other day, very timeless, which is the whole point of the Dune franchise and the Frank Herbert stories, timeless and timely. But yeah, Dune Part 3, that was another big part of the presentation. Of course, that's going to be, I feel like Dune Part 3 probably, if I was the betting man, I would say that's probably Warner Brothers' highest grossing movie of the year. So I'm glad that they went all out for it. But of course, John, two of the other big ones this year, especially, we talked about this the other day on the show, Warner Brothers and most movie studios today need to make more movies like this, because if you can spend $45 million and make a blockbuster that makes even like 200-300 million, then the mid-budget movie is back. And that's something that we have been just wanting for a very long time in Hollywood. And you know, nowadays a lot of the big studio movies tend to be 150-200 million dollars. But then you have Clayface, which Peter Safran gave us a first teaser for at CinemaCon. You want to walk us through this one, John? Because we finally got our first look at Clayface, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
So, Supergirl Strike 1, Lantern Strike 2. Then we got a home run, baby. Let's fucking go. Like, fuck the other two. Like, reading what the footage was. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're back, baby. We're back. We're so back. Okay? Let's go. Okay? Tom King might have King in his name, but the real king is motherfucking Mike Flanagan, baby. Let's fucking go. And James Watkins and the guy who partially rewrote the script. Forget the name, but the guy who did Drive. So, hell yeah. Anyway, so in the trailer, we see a highly disfigured character with red eyes lying in a hospital bed. This is clearly a version of our lead character, played by Welsh actor Tom Rhys-Harris, who was previously in Doctor Who. That's probably his most famous role. Whom we cut to in various stages of mutilation pre and post some kind of traumatic event. Elsewhere, we see the character wearing a mask, seemingly molting, and with a face he can distort like putty. You know, also we know Clayface directed by James Watkins, all that stuff. Appearing to introduce Clayface, DC chief Peter Safran called the character someone who's not famous yet, but will be once the riveting horror thriller hits theaters just in time for Halloween. So Naomi Ackie, along with David Densick, Mike Minghella, and Eddie Marson are also rounding up. Hossein Amini, that's the that was the
Amini,
other writer, but. Yeah, so they're rounding out the cast, and
Matt Reeves is a producer on this, by the way.
Yeah, because he's like handling all Batman stuff,
Batman,
I believe.
Yeah,
what it was. Yeah,
actually, John, if you go to the rap link, they gave us an even better description.
Yes. So this is more specific because the rap has been very good with like more specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it begins by flashing between scenes of a man whose face is brutally scarred and Tom Rhys-Harris as Matt Hagen, not Basil Karlo. They are doing what Feet of Clay did in the Batman the Animated Series, where they essentially take the actor background of Basil Karlo and pretty much attach it to Matt Hagen, who was the second Clayface. Basil Karlo was essentially it was just Phantom of the Opera. Like, he just wore a mask. His character was called Clayface. He was killing people on set. And then Batman defeats him. He was kind of like mainly in the Golden Age. And then Matt Hagen was a treasure hunter that falls into a pool of something and he becomes the clay creature. So they're essentially combining those two aspects, much like Batman the Animated Series. So as we continue cutting to Matt, we begin to see his face losing its composure, melting and drooping as he struggles with his new powers as Clayface. A silhouetted shot shows him using his iconic spiked hand, showing that he has powers beyond simply changing his face. The end of the trailer sets to the song Do You Realize, shows Matt in a bathtub before his face completely loses all features and becomes a clay-textured mess of flesh. I believe it was described he takes his face and it literally melts off of his head.
That's wild.
That's fucking awesome, baby.
Yep. I mean, that feels very rated R. But yeah, damn. Like, wow. I can't wait to see this. I hope this teaser makes it, into the previews for Supergirl. I feel like that's probably the most likely place we'll get to see it. I don't think they put this out there any sooner than that. But this looks great. I mean, again, and Peter Safran, when he came out to talk about this, he did mention that Man of Tomorrow goes into production, I think, next week. So that was like a surprise announcement. I mean, kind of like, oh, by the way, like, okay, great. So it's good to know. So yeah, we know now that Man of Tomorrow, it's very, that's why James Gunn wasn't there, because, he's getting ready to literally roll cameras next week. So that's good. And yeah, October 23rd, right? That's the new release date. So
yes,
very much. So. I mean, the week before Halloween, which is that's been like an iconic release date for a lot of big horror movies. They'll write the week before Halloween, and so people go see it. It's that time of the year. It's peak spooky time. You go see a Clayface movie. I think they've perfectly positioned this one.
Yeah, I'm glad that they delayed it a month, because it just makes more sense than what Practical Magic 2 is. That's September 11th weekend. It's just like, come on.
I agree. Absolutely.
It's a creepy body horror movie. Halloween time. Come on. This is Halloween. Come on now.
I agree.
I'm glad they did it.
Let's keep going, because Clayface comes out in October. But of course, the big movie of the summer from DC is Supergirl, which comes out June 26th.
Summer of Supergirl, baby.
They definitely had a big presentation with that. James Gunn wasn't there, but Millie Alcock was there, and Lobo, Jason Momoa, was there. In fact, Jason Momoa hitting the red carpet at the event in a very Lobo-looking outfit, before he then went on and changed into his somewhat more subdued outfit that he wore for the Dune presentation later in the night. But I mean, I'm glad that they've been putting DC front and center, because it's like it's one of the crown jewels of the Warner Brothers IP library, and that's obviously why Paramount has bought them in the first place. So yeah, let's talk about Supergirl, John. So walk us through the preview. Tech Pirates. I guess this is the sequence from the trailer. I'll see if I can find the shot from our trailer stills from the other day. But we do get some extended looks at a few scenes, especially, I believe, the first time Ruthie meets Supergirl. We get to see that. So they did show a bunch of footage. And it looks like, I mean, it was impressive, certainly. You get to see the importance of the sword that Ruthie wants to use to kill Crema de Yellow Hill, and how that figures into the story. I mean, that trailer they released is only a couple of weeks old now, so I don't imagine these scenes are gonna end up online, that they showed at CinemaCon anytime soon. They might eventually put them out there, but this was definitely CinemaCon exclusive footage. I think you have the description. Yeah, so let's go through that description from the wrap, because that's, the key.
Yeah. So a Supergirl scene shown at CinemaCon shows Kara get on what appears to be a space bus loaded with aliens. Like, she's waiting at the bus stop. This is, I think, when she finally decides to go after Krem, because, he hurt Crypto, and she needs the antidote and all that. She offers one with tentacles on its face a stick of gum and asks them to stop smoking. She then asks another alien if they're comfy as they sleep on her. She asks if they have a clue what she's saying, and the alien responds in perfect English, "Do I look like an idiot to you?" I appreciate that. Kara then hears young Ruthie being accosted by a different large alien screeching in a different language. Kara screeches back and explains that Ruthie offended the alien per their culture. All right, yeah. Okay, all right.
I feel like you saw some shots of this in the trailer. Remember, there's like a scene where they're sitting on a bus and Ruthie's pulling out her sword. But yeah, let's keep going. What else do we got?
Ruthie follows Supergirl back to her seat as Supergirl asks why she's not with Crypto. The bus is caught in a tractor beam of red lightning as a group of pirates phase on board. Kara tells Ruthie that they are all going to be robbed. One of the pirates approaches Kara and asks for a watch in her pocket. Kara begrudgingly gives it up. Supergirl and the pirate both notice that Ruthie has drawn her sword, and Kara encourages her to lower it. The sword is then taken by the pirate. Kara whispers, I have a plan, kind of. God, this is fucking long. Jesus Christ. Kara then gets up and asks for the watch and sword back in exchange for one of their teleportation phasing devices. This starts a fight between the pirates where Kara and her enemies are both using the teleportation technology. All right, that's kind of a unique sequence. Kara's clearly somewhat depowered by red sunlight. She hurts her fists punching people and is able to get injured herself. She's also still getting used to the teleportation tech, at one point sending herself under one of the other passengers.
It does
Kara
sound like
asks
Star
the bus
Wars-y.
driver if they can get any closer to a nearby planet so that she can be empowered by yellow sunlight, and the driver says they can't without an engine. Kara begins putting on a spacesuit, but before she can put on a helmet, the main pirate sends her out the airlock, leaving her floating and frozen in space. The bus driver, a small mousy alien, says, I knew I should have called in sick today, Lloyd. All right. Very cute, very nice. Yeah.
So this is, I think, the scene from the trailer that we got that they're talking about, where then I think later in the scene you get to see like the whole her laser vision fighting off the laser beam from the ship, and clearly with the yellow sun behind her, she's pissed. And yeah, so we get an extended look at this, and then I think there was a montage the rest of the way for the trailer where you get to see more of like the looks from the movie. Again, some footage that we have seen, some new shots, but yeah, impressive stuff. I mean, John, again, it seems like the movie's gonna have, it's not gonna feel too dark, it's gonna have an irreverent sense of humor. I definitely can see why people would still continue to compare to Guardians of the Galaxy, but you know, nonetheless, it still looks like a fun time. That's for sure. And so now we're getting to, you know, a better idea of how the story will play out too, which is great. Let's take a look at some of the photos, because Millie Alcock showing up with a nice sweater, which kind of a riff on the Superman shield, except with the with Dolce and wait, is that, am I saying that wrong? No, there's that. Yeah, that is Dolce and Gabbana, right? So yeah, that looks interesting. I would like to get my hand on one of those if I can. But
are you talking about the sweater or Millie Alcock?
Okay. I'm talking about the sweater.
Yeah, that sweater probably costs like your entire fucking house, man. If it's a Dolce Gabbana fucking sweater.
That might be an exaggeration, but anyway, looks nice. I was surprised to see it. I mean, it's a nice collab, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of those. So, and then Lobo was, I thought, to me, like the scene stealer, because of course Jason Momoa not only brought himself to CinemaCon in you know, great gear, but he also brought the Lobo space hog, as they're calling it, and he rolled it right on the stage. Very Lobo-like. He also talked about how, and I think we actually have this if you go to that direct article. Yeah, Jason Momoa was talking about how,
yeah.
There we go. it's a little further down.
I know. Hang on. Let me.
Yep. By the way, this was not Dolce & Gabbana. This was Chanel. I'm confusing my
Chanel. Okay, Chanel. I don't know fucking
Chanel. I was like, that doesn't quite look the same. It's similar, but it's not. So it's a Chanel sweater. But anyway, who knows?
Okay,
I mean,
hang on.
Between two of us, we're not getting a lot of Chanel stuff. So Jason Momoa was on stage talking about, you know, how, of course, Lobo is the character he's always wanted to play, collected those comics when he was growing up. He's mentioned that before. So he's, you know, he's really excited. He only was on set for like 15 to 18 days, so they did kind of confirm that. So he's not going to have the biggest role. Of course, the director of the movie, Craig Gillespie, was also there. And yeah, I mean, Jason Momoa said like the 12-year-old in him is freaking out about this. It's a dream come true. They did also confirm that they will feature 6 different planets in 5 different languages that Millie Alcock had to learn. And in fact, they also talked about how they actually, in terms of references, they only had a real dog on set like one day of the movie. So I guess crypto might not be in as much of the movie as we maybe have been promised, or at least they didn't need, you know, a dog on set for reference as other than just the one day. So take that for what you will. But anyway, Jason Momoa there was this one moment during the panel where basically Craig Gillespie and Millie Alcott kind of turned to Momoa and they kind of asked him like, hey, who do you think would win in a battle between Aquaman and Lobo? And Jason Momoa, being put on the spot, he was like, you know, they'll probably look at each other and then go drink a few hundred beers, which I thought was a very Jason Momoa thing to do. But also, if you watch the first Aquaman movie, that's exactly how things play out. So, you know, with the whole biker gang that he gets into a nice fun time with. So yeah, this was great. Supergirl was a big part of the presentation, and yeah, I can't wait to see more of Ruthie's story in the movie. And it looks like the footage that the showcase was brilliant. Again, some of the shots we have seen in the trailer that dropped a couple of weeks ago, but then they did give us, you know, an extended look at that part of the movie, which still seems to be in the first act of the film. So they're not giving away much from later on. In fact, during the footage that they showcased, they also showcased more of the footage from the trailer. Let me see if I can put that on screen for a moment again. Let's see. It's this part here where clearly you get to see a longer portion of this sequence where Creme of the Yellow Hill is talking to Supergirl, and we know now that look on Supergirl's face, that is kryptonite poisoning. So we do get to see kryptonite make an appearance in this movie, and so Supergirl has to kind of work through, kind of like Clark, I guess, which to me it makes all the sense in the world. That kind of explains, you know, the look there, and hopefully it doesn't get much worse than that in the movie. But yeah, that was a question that I had from the trailer the other day. So we now know that is kryptonite poisoning. So we got that in the trailer too. Awesome. Well, John, I don't know. What do you think about the Warner Brothers CinemaCon panel? That was packed. They got 18 movies next year.
I mean, we even, you know, we have, you know, there's a whole like mess of stuff we didn't even get into. Like Jack Black talked about Minecraft 2 for a bit. Obviously, we got some Man of Tomorrow stuff. We're going to be getting into that more so for DC Daily. We got a little bit. We got a little bit of End of Oak Street. We got a little bit of fucking Cat in the Hat. Yeah, unfortunately, that fucking, you know, war crime is still coming out.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult, by the way, we'll talk about Man of Tomorrow in a moment. I just wanted to talk about, like, Nicholas Hoult had a video package that they showcase. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're also, you know, getting that Aunt Gladys prequel because sure, I guess. And then these are all
she won
the
an
movies
Oscar for it, so
that are coming out in 2027 and beyond. Animal Friends, Remain, Panic Carefully, Godzilla X Kong Supernova, FAST, Bad Fairies, Man of Tomorrow, a Minecraft sequel, Shiv, Conjuring First Communion, Batman Part 2, Margie Claus, Gremlins, Lord of the Rings, Hunt for Gollum, Oceans prequel, a Nancy Meyers film, Tiamo, Oh the Places Will Go, another Warner Brothers produced Dr. Seuss adaptation that will probably suck, Dynamic Duo, Hello Kitty, The Lunar Chronicles, Final Destination 7, The Revenge of La Llorona, Evil Dead Wrath, the Baz Luhrmann film, Aunt Gladys prequel, The Glued, and Game of Thrones, Aegon's Conquest, not Quest, but Conquest. So
yeah, Margie Claus and that Gremlins movie look interesting to me. I'm kind of curious. I did want to actually, speaking of things that we didn't even talk about, John. M. Night Shyamalan,
Ding Dong.
Whatever. But you know, the Shamhammer also had a video package where he teased his new movie, which is called Remain, and then Sam Ishmael also was on talking about his movie Panic Carefully, which was shot entirely in the 4:3 IMAX ratio. So yeah, that is, it's not started filming yet, so it's, you know, on its way to getting into production. And then, like you mentioned, Jack Black talked about Minecraft 2. Apparently he even sang the original songs based on Steve's Lava Chicken from the first movie. So of course Jack Black. That's a surprisingly accurate impression. Margot Robbie appeared on screen to talk about her Ocean's 11 prequel, which I think is very interesting, because remember how Warner Brothers promoted the F1 movie last year? Well, we now know that Ocean 11's prequel that she's going to be a part of is a heist movie set in 1962 at the Monaco Grand Prix, which is one of the oldest Grand Prix events in existence. And so I'm excited about that. Okay, fine, John. But Melissa McCarthy also showed up.
It doesn't have George Clooney in it. No, then I don't care.
It's
okay.
Well, it's because it's a prequel. It's a prequel anyway. So there was that, and then there was also Melissa McCarthy came on screen to talk about Margie is her Christmas movie. It's an animated movie, so we'll see how that turns out.
Ew,
and then
Melissa
John,
McCarthy.
Sam Raimi was part of the Evil Dead Wrath presentation. We didn't mention it earlier.
Finally,
he was
some good food
on screen. So he called it this year's most terrifying experience. So I mean, Sam Raimi busy as ever. And then Cynthia Erivo also promoted her new animated movie. And then Keanu Reeves joined in to tease his movie, Shiver, which is coming up as well. Now, Man of Tomorrow. This is one that we didn't mention earlier, but speaking of DC, speaking of Man of Tomorrow, which we'll talk about a lot more later in the show too. Nicholas Hoult, who just recently went bald, to reprise his role as Lex Luthor. He's of course getting ready to start filming. He promoted in a video message before they get into like all the people that were actually there. They had these whole raft of video messages, and so Nicholas Hoult was promoting Man of Tomorrow, talking about the movies essentially. We have a new villain, Unlikely Alliance, Brainiac and blah blah blah. And David Cornsweet was also on camera. He was like, "Look, it's gonna be interesting for Superman to try to save the world, with his sworn enemy." So it's. I mean, obviously they have great chemistry, in all the promotions. So it was good to see Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet. But James Gunn mentioned briefly how excited he is about the film. So yeah, I mean, they're very much, getting ready to start filming, like I said, in days from now. So and we'll talk about Adria Arjona as well, who just picked up the role, the last remaining role in the movie. So we'll get into that later in DCU Daily proper. I would say, in terms of out of 10, I would give Warner Brothers presentation a good 8.5 out of 10. Because most of what they talked about wasn't like groundbreaking information. The reason I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 is because I believe Disney's gonna be blowing the doors off the news cycle like this Thursday, because we're gonna get Avengers Doomsday stuff. We're probably gonna get other Marvel announcements.
Start that once they end,
So,
just so we like have,
yeah,
because we're gonna have like a probably fucking 6-hour show, and it's just like, all right,
they got Paramount earlier in the day. Then you got, of course, Disney. Disney is gonna be big. So I think 8.5 out of 10 for Warner Brothers.
Show.
Yeah. This was good. I enjoyed a lot of what they gave us. I mean, nothing too groundbreaking. I feel like most of what they showed, I don't think any of those trailers, and maybe The Great Beyond, that teaser probably makes it online soon. I'd imagine we'll start to get more from Dune Part 3. The Supergirl stuff, I don't think those scenes will get released publicly. Didn't really show an extended look at any of the movies beyond that. Obviously a lot of IP stuff, like Ron was saying in the chat. So you guys let us know in the comments down below. What did you think about Warner Brothers CinemaCon presentation? Definitely a packed presentation. They definitely used up their time well, an entire 2 hours and some change. So yeah, and then what we're gonna do right now is switch over to talking about a panel that happened earlier in the night. We won't spend a ton of time on this, but yeah, Neon, one of the smaller studios, really, still like not even a mid-major necessarily, John, but they've actually got a really good track record in terms of acquiring movies at festivals, and then they've won a multiple Oscars in recent years. It's a surprisingly, big presence at the award circuit every year, given the size of the studio. And they actually have like a winning streak at cons for I think 6 years in a row now. They've been winning the biggest award at Cannes Film Festival. So they had a presentation earlier. Lakeith Stanfield was there. I believe Adam Scott was there promoting Hokum. Not as much to talk about, because most of these movies are going to be smaller films that if you're a big fan of what Neon puts out there, then I think this is great. They did talk about the value of having these smaller movies and how that's needed to sustain the industry, and how that's an area of opportunity they can capitalize on, whereas bigger studios are not focusing on movies like the ones that Neon does. Obviously, Warner Brothers is doing something about it with, Clockwork, and we talked about other studios have their prestige arms, but Neon definitely has its own different vibe to it. They're kind of like where A24 was maybe 5 years ago. And yeah, I mean, they had Daisy Edgar Jones and Michelle Williams talk about A Place in Hell, which comes out Christmas Day this year, so the same weekend as Jumanji. And so the two of them were in a pre-recorded message, and they showed a trailer for the movie as well. And then they had a number of their other smaller movies that they've acquired from different festivals and stuff. Some of them are competing this year as well. It included Levictus, which comes out June 19th. It's a fresh acquisition. And then they also got Cannes Selection Hope from Na Hong Jin. I was looking at that earlier. There was news about how it got selected in the Cannes festival. And John, let's kind of quickly talk about the Adam Scott Hokum movie that he was there to promote. I don't know, is this one that you're looking forward to at all?
Oh yeah, this looks really good. Because the thing is, what was so funny, I remember seeing the trailer for this when it was just like 2 seconds, and it was like just a flash of images, and I was looking because you could barely see him, and I'm like, is that fucking Adam Scott? And because he's wearing glasses, he doesn't normally wear glasses,
right?
And he had because usually he kind of has more of a he has more of a messy kind of hair look, where it's like kind of like a slightly well coiffed messy bedhead kind of vibe, and he has very because I think it looks like it takes place in 40s 50s. I think it takes place a long time ago. I think it's a period piece kind of thing, and it's very slicked back kind of look, so I didn't recognize him. I'm like, that can't be Alan Scott. I mean, that's got to be something like a lookalike. I was like, nope, that's Adam Scott. And he's doing weirder stuff, which is good for him, being in Severance, being in this. I'm definitely excited for it, and I think this is going to be a real good time. I liked the director's previous movie, Oddity, which is a Shudder original. So if you have Shudder, you can go and watch that. It's kind of taking the idea of the Jewish legend, the Golem, and kind of doing its own thing with it. Very good, very well done. Highly recommend it. So I'm excited for this. I'm liking that previous movie. I like Adam Scott. I like the idea of it. Very intriguing. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. And plus, I gotta say, Adam Scott, he's looking smexy. Not gonna lie, just the overall vibe, the jeans, got the double-breasted blazer, the nice little bit of stubble there. As I said, the messy kind of oh, I just got out of bed, but I kind of raked a comb across it, and kind of sexy. Not gonna lie.
There's actually a couple more looks at. If you swipe across, there's a couple more looks at it if you want to get more of a peek at his due for the movie. Yeah, very much I think in line with the look of the film itself. I did mention earlier though also Lakeith Stanfield was there with Boots Riley to promote Love Boosters, which comes out May 22nd. So that was a fun part of the presentation. They were very eclectic. And then Hokum, speaking of Hokum, comes out May 1st. So those are the two movies coming out in May for Neon. And then Neon, they wrapped up their presentation with one of their executives saying that, her name, Elisa Fedorov. They were saying that the future of this business depends on originality, and the industry cannot survive on tentpoles alone. The opportunity in front of all of us isn't just to bring audiences back, it's to give them something they can't get anywhere else. So talking specifically about where they see the role of Neon in the larger landscape. So I think this was an interesting presentation. This was a smaller presentation earlier in the day. Neon was there last year, so again returning this year. I'm glad that they're showcasing smaller labels, and they have an outsized impact on the market because they're nominated and consistently winning Oscars, sometimes even more than some of the really big studios. So for example, Paramount won nothing this year, and Neon keeps picking up awards every year. So I'm excited that they're a part of the picture and a conversation conversation and continue to be, deservedly so. But yeah, Godzilla -0. Don't you worry, man. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, that was the Neon presentation. So that wraps up the 2 presentation reviews for today's CinemaCon events. We talked about Warner Brothers. We talked about Neon. You guys let us know in the comments which of those announcements were you most excited about, which movie you had never heard of before that now you're actually excited for. I think Digger looks very interesting. That to me was like the most curious, wild, crazy thing we saw today. So yes, excited to see where all of that goes. But John, before we get to the DCU Daily part of the show, we got to talk about some MCU Weekly. And we have some more Daredevil conversations to get into, a little bit more regarding Avengers Doomsday. Of course, ahead of Disney's presentation on Thursday, we've got a lot more to talk about here. Daredevil Born Again, currently airing Season 2. Mike Coulter, now that the world knows he is indeed back in Season 3. Remember how he made that big post on Instagram yesterday with like a dozen or 24 different photos from across the set and like his experience while filming Season 3? Well, he recently posted, I mean, one of the shots here, you got the new mayor of the city, which we now know won't be Kingpin by Season 3 of, and then you got the rest of the Defenders sans Daredevil. But then it looks like we got somebody else who used to be a part of the Netflix iteration of the show. She commented on this post, not the Twitter post, but the original Instagram post. Colleen Wang, who was in the Matrix movies, not the movies, but the last Matrix movie. She actually, no, not Colleen Wang. I'm talking about Jessica Henwick, who played Colleen Wang. She commented on that Instagram post, and then in response to that, Mike Coulter, he almost like hinted that maybe they're bringing Colleen back, John. I don't know if you saw this, but do you think we're about, because like people have speculated we might get Elektra back. Do you think we're getting more than just the Heroes for Hire coming back in Season 3 of Daredevil?
Yeah, we might get what was it? Because yeah, Jessica Hardwick and then Misty Knight. Oh,
yeah, Jessica
Daughters of
Henwick
the Dragon.
was, yep.
That's that we might be getting that. So we'll see. But yeah, that's definitely, that would be awesome, because Misty Knight was awesome especially in Luke Cage Season 2 of what I watched of it, with her now like robot fucking arm or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Colleen Wing was great in Iron Fist, and seeing them together even for a little bit was awesome. So yeah, it's just I would love to see more of that in the near future. So fuck yeah.
Yeah, if you actually scroll down in this article, oh, there it is. That's no, you're right. You're there. I wasn't looking at it. The eye emoji. So it will be interesting to see where they go with that. Speaking of the Heroes for Hire, John, we talked about this scooper yesterday quite a bit, but My Time to Shine was today discussing how Heroes for Hire might actually be a show that's in the works in the halls of Marvel
That's
Studios.
all we've wanted. That's literally all we fucking wanted, is the two of them together. Because separately, good, maybe not great. Well, I think Luke Cage is great, but like together will be even better. And it just goes to show it's like a full circle moment,
Right.
like the whole thing, why the characters got created. They lost relevancy, they threw them together, and then that like exploded in popularity, became one of the best friendships in all of comics. And so having that, like, both have their own separate show, then it getting unceremoniously canceled because it got sold off.
Yeah.
So then they come back
Well, the
together
rights reverted,
as Heroes
yeah.
for Hire, and hell yeah, like
Yeah.
loving to see it.
Well, My Time to Shine, again, take it with a grain of salt, but they were saying that
Yeah, obviously.
yeah, they were saying that more shows starring the Defenders
absolutely grain of salt, but like this is
are in development.
This
Yeah.
is what we want to see. Fucking,
Yes.
I just wish it wasn't My Time to Shine. I wish it was APOC Horseman or Daniel RPK saying this, because
If
then that
you're
would
doing-
actually have a little
yeah.
bit of merit. But like, God fucking damn it, bro! Like, I just want a Heroes for Hire show. Is that like, come on, like that's all.
I mean,
wanna
it looks
see.
like
all
that's
I've wanted.
one of, it's one of several ideas though. So I mean, there is a possibility we might, before we even get to Heroes for Hire, they might give us another Luke Cage show, or give us an Iron Fist show again.
Nah,
or
fuck
maybe
that
let
shit. I
Jessica
want
Jones
them
do her
together
thing.
immediately.
I wouldn't mind that. I feel like that's the way to go. I mean, maybe they're thinking about some other ideas that are not,
Because
like,
I feel
bringing
like, and I've
back those
talked
other
about
shows
this, that
either.
they were kind of
So
the lesser shows, quote unquote. Like
yeah.
Daredevil was like the best thing Marvel ever created, and that
Mhm.
Jessica Jones, while not quite as great as Daredevil, was like still very popular because
Mhm.
that was the second show, and then they introduced these other shows. The Punisher, I would say, is probably the third best because that was probably the most popular out of the five. And then Luke Cage, while a great show, it did have a lot of iffy instances, mainly, you know, like, come on, fucking killing Cottonmouth halfway through the season still pisses me off. But it's like Mahershala Ali, and you fucking get rid of him. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. So like, hey, we'll give you Blade, and then that never happened either. So whoopsie daisies. But
It's
I mean,
yeah.
Luke Cage was great, but it did have its own flaws, and then Iron Fist, it was never really well liked. So those were kind of the two quote unquote lesser shows that didn't quite reach the highest of highs that Jessica Jones and Daredevil did, and even I would say Punisher. But I still truly believe that Luke Cage is a great show, and Iron Fist did have some high points, but like putting them together, I feel like makes sense. So you're not like spending as much on two different shows. And I'm not reviewing Doomsday Figure Drawing. Get your fucking wet dreams and get out of here.
Well, I know you're gonna be reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day though.
I am going to be
because
reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day.
remember in that trailer we saw the hand. I mean, people have now been speculating, especially with the new posters that they released yesterday with Sony's presentation. There seems to be a mystery female looking leader of the hand, and comicbookmovie.com put together a nice list of maybe 5 potential options for who that character could be. Let's kind of go through these real quick. I want to get your take on this. Which of these do you think are the most feasible? Like Scarlet Samurai, that's one.
Maybe. I mean, if here's the thing, this would make sense if like Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, which I mean, I pray is not the case, but it would make sense to bring in an X-Men character if you're already having this other X-Men character. So
yeah. Everybody wants you to do a Doomsday review, John. We'll talk. We'll see. Wasn't Scarlet Samurai character hinted at in the Wolverine movie? Am I thinking of the wrong?
No, you're thinking of Silver Samurai.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you got Qui-Gon.
Then you have Qui-Gon, who was there was the whole thing with like Betsy Braddock, and so essentially this was the original like form of the Asian character that many people associate with Betsy Braddock, even though that's technically comics. It would take too long to explain, but this was essentially a character associated with Betsy Braddock, but like not totally that character. So yeah, I think that could definitely be the case. Again, if they're bringing in X-Men things into this movie, it would make sense to again bring another X-Men character in there. Then you have the Queen, who this was the character that mouth raped Spider-Man in the comics, turned him into a giant spider, gave birth to himself, and that's what gave him organic webs. So that was fun. Again, comics. So it would probably be the most likely, but like I don't know why she would be with the hand. That's the thing that's like kind of confusing about it. But
another one of those characters that has a connection to the super soldier serum in the comics.
Yes.
Which is just, there's just too many of those in the MCU already. I don't know if they want to go in that direction with yet another one of those characters.
It's like, how much of the super soldier serum did you fucking give out, guys? It's
like, you know, after...
oh, what super soldier serum did you get? I got it from Hydra. Oh, fancy, you know?
Fancy. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, we were just talking about Daredevil, John. One of the other options would be Elektra.
Unlikely. Yeah. It doesn't look like Elodie Young, so I would say, you know what? There is one thing that'll get me to watch Doomsday. I'm actually serious about this.
Okay.
When when, because I know it's gonna not be an if, but a when I lose that bet with C Black and Brand New Day hits $1 billion, if you all scrounge together $1,000 and give it to me in order to recoup that money, I will go see Avengers Doomsday. There. That is the only way, is if this community
That's
rounds
a high
up
price.
1,000, like, and I mean
That's a high
$1,000
price.
directly to me. I'm not talking about super chats. I mean, like,
Yeah.
get me through my Venmo or Cash App or PayPal and pay me $1,000, not just you, the whole community, because I'm not asking that much money. Then I'll go see Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, that's a very expensive review. But did you really bet? Did you actually? I
did.
forget. Was that the bet? Oh wow, wow.
I have a
okay.
Post-it note.
So wait, wow. I can't believe you made that bet. Dude, the last one
I was
made almost $2
confident, and
billion.
then the first trailer came out. Oh, fuck, I'm fucked, aren't I?
Oh, God.
I was very confident.
I mean, we'll see if C Black comes to collect,
because here's the thing, unlike Yash, I'm a man of my word. And people will die. Anyway.
Yeah. Now you've got
I was
the Joker
confident.
laugh.
I had no faith in the movie. I was gonna see it anyway, but I had no faith. And then I'm like,
that's a bad bet. That's a bad. You know, John. You need to get like, you need to go on Polymarket and make some money before the movie comes out, because like you're gonna need it for this bet.
I need another
This
job.
bad
Is
bet.
what I need. I need like a steady like paycheck, just so I could be like, hey.
Yep. Well, let's talk about. There was one more character in that top
one more.
five.
And then Typhoid Mary.
Yeah.
Definitely not, because that was played by Alice Eve. Again, who knows if like Iron Fist is canonical, but I think there has been multiple Typhoid Marys, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. So maybe, but it's unlikely. The most likely out of all of these is the Queen, because that's associated with Spider-Man. It's associated with the story, one of the stories where Spider-Man got his organic webbing. So to me, the Queen is the most likely. However, I could see Quanon. I could see the Scarlet Samurai if Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, because that makes sense. So yeah, that's my theory. But like this character, I mean, you don't really see her face, but I don't think that's Elodie Young. It's definitely not Typhoid Mary, because it's like that's not really Typhoid Mary's character. Typhoid Mary is kind of like a Harley Quinn-esque character, but like way more awesome and way more interesting. So I don't. Elektra maybe, but I don't think Elektra would show up in a Spider-Man movie. They probably want to save her for like Daredevil season 4 or 5 if it goes that long. And then the Queen makes sense, and maybe X-Men characters again if there is that X-Men association in this movie. So I could see Elektra, but I feel like they would want to save that for Daredevil. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a rumor that she might be in season 3, so this could be a way to introduce her character in terms of where she is now. You know, like maybe. There's also we haven't really talked about this on the show, so I don't know if I want to get into this or not. But my culture might have completely spoiled where Daredevil is in the next season, or at least where he begins, and then how that ties into Spider-Man. So if that were a hint of things to come, then that would make Elektra being the leader of the Hand a lot more likely. But yeah, I mean, maybe Sour Tour knows what I'm talking about. We haven't talked about it on the show. We don't want to ruin it for you, because it's definitely a big spoiler. But yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Elektra could be very likely if you take that potential spoiler into account.
Yeah.
But anyway, John, let's keep going, because Spider-Man 3, not the movie, but Spider-Man 3 the game. It looks like the actor who's the face of Spider-Man in the games.
Tom Holland from Temu.
Well, he's back in a capture studio. If you scroll down here, and it looks, I mean, I think he deleted it since.
Yeah.
But Ben Jordan was doing some motion capture, and then he posted this photo, the now deleted photo, with like if you know, you know,
because you
and
could
a
see like
spider
him
emoji.
doing the Spider-Man thing.
So
it's like,
I
yeah,
don't
Spider-Man 3 is happening, even though
think,
Spider-Man 2 did not live up to the hype. So,
yeah,
you know.
I don't think he was meant to be putting this up on like social media. Clearly, his representation probably was like, "Dude, you want to get fired? You know, they will replace you." So,
Yeah, that already happened to John Bubniak, the original
yeah.
the original fucking face actor.
But Insomnia, remember when they had that huge leak? They did have a whole roadmap which included a Spider-Man 3. So it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that while their next big game is Wolverine, that they are working on something Spider-Man related. If not Spider-Man 3, then something.
Here's the thing:
related to
the
that.
only thing I want to
So-
see is definitely more missions as Mary Jane Watson and the random mute girl, and
Mhm.
just doing graffiti. I want to see like 90% of that, and then 10% actual Spider-Man stuff. That's what I want to see. 100%.
Totally. Absolutely.
And
That
just
would be
like
great.
leave like one of the greatest like fucking horror actors who's ever lived on the cutting room floor, just so you can have more deaf mute girl graffiti drawing in your fucking game. Yeah, because that's what people want to see. Not Tony Todd as Venom, you know, not Tony Todd as probably the most perfectly cast fucking character actor to ever voice Venom that we can never get again because he's fucking dead now. No, you cut all that shit out because we had to fucking play a girl doing graffiti art for fucking some reason to like own the haters. Fuck you. Eat a dick. Get out of here. Like literally like Tony Todd as Venom. No, we're not going to use that. We're going to fucking cut half his dialogue because eat a dick, and we have like these mini games that literally nobody fucking likes. Just so it's like I'm not even joking. Like the fucking guy
I
who was
believe
in
you.
charge of doing the mini games and stuff, like he heard the hatred against like the Mary Jane mini games, which weren't terrible, but like they were like,
Right.
why? He's like, oh, I'm gonna make it better so I can own the haters. So he included even more of it, longer missions, and because of that, they had to cut out Tony Todd's Venom stuff, and a lot of it was on the cutting room floor. And it's just like, the fuck you mean, bro? Like, if I couldn't fucking hate the idea of that game like more than I do, it's like the first Spider-Man game was so good, Miles Morales was good, and then you just shit the bed majorly, bro. It's like, goddamn.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, well, let's just see what it turns into. It looks like something is afoot with regard to Insomnia and
Or a
the future of the
hand,
Spider-Man games.
if
Yeah.
we're talking Spider-Man.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because he's fighting the hand.
No, I got the reference. I definitely got the reference.
Anyway, moving on. Speaking of
Yes.
Avengers Doomsday, here we go.
Yeah, there's a new rumor swirling around which, I mean, I was just like, oh, really? You know, for like the 90,000th time, that Avengers Doomsday will serve as I guess, the last swan song of many for the Fox X-Men characters. John, your thoughts on this? It's coming from Scoopers, so believe, and they're not really particularly well known or very trusty, but they do mention that, some of the X-Men characters we don't see in the movie, like for example, we don't think Storm is going to be in the movie. We don't think Jean Grey will be in the movie, the Fox iteration, unless Famke Janssen is back, which there is a possibility. But the characters that we do get to see, they're meant to be the last survivors of that iteration of the X-Men, because the rest of them died fighting the Incursions, which isn't something necessarily new, but I mean, I guess, I don't know, like I read this and I was like, really? Like, yeah, I mean, Magneto and Professor X, I hope that's the swan song, because by the time they have an opportunity to do another one, I hope Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen are still with us, because they're literally in their 90s, John. So I don't know. Does this surprise you at all that this is being seen as a last hurrah for the Fox X-Men characters in the MCU?
I mean, yeah, that fucking makes sense. Like, duh. And, like, the universe is dead, of course.
Yeah, I
they're
saw
gonna,
that, yeah.
But it's just like, but it feels like that, as you were saying, it's like that scene from Jimmy Neutron. It's like, Sheen, this is the 6th time you showed Ultralord as part of Show and Tell. Fucking guys, Marvel, this is like the 17th time you've shown the swan song for the X-Men. Like, can we like finally actually have a swan song for the X-Men? That would be fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't we actually, just let them rest, you know? It's like, I know Sir Patrick Stewart will come back for the paycheck, and he just doesn't care. Like,
I mean,
he's not one of
clearly
those,
fucking
like,
Ian McKellen will come back for the paycheck because he's coming back to
clearly.
this and for fucking Lord of the Rings. Like, bro really wants that money.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I can't, but you know what? Also, they're working actors. I'm not, it's like if I got offered a job and I wanted to take it, I was like, who are you to judge me for like wanting to get paid kind of thing, right? So, I don't think it's on a personal level. I think it's more just, yeah, like you said, the whole Jimmy Neutron thing, like, it's another one, like, Professor X has been already in the MCU twice with Deadpool and Wolverine, before that, a Multiverse of Madness, the second Doctor Strange movie, so, yeah, I mean, I hope I mean, the moment we got in that little teaser was a nice moment between Magneto and Professor X playing chess, which we have seen, of course, before, you know, in the original Fox movies, too, so... I just hope, I hope they give it more a sense of finality than, because I mean they did a whole montage credit sequence in Deadpool and Wolverine, so we were all just like, you know, is that's it, right? But I guess it's not. But I will say this feels more final in the sense that once the MCU introduces their version of the X-Men, then I really don't think they would have any reason to go back to these other, you know, iterations. So. Yeah, I mean, and then also Kevin Feige, who used to be a part of the Creative Brain Trust on a lower level because he was a junior producer back in those days for Marvel. This is his way of like saying goodbye to those characters that, you know, he really, you know, learned a lot about, you know, how movies are made back in the day, and so for him it must be really special to like work with these actors and be able to, you know, be in a position where he gets to kind of decide the creative direction, and do a proper send off his way. So I think for Kevin Feige, this is probably a very personal choice. So yeah, good to know there. But yeah, Avengers Doomsday, another scooper was talking about how it's being compared to a horror movie, and to the point, not necessarily because it's going to be gory or anything, but apparently they were saying that people, you know, will be turning away from the screen because of like, there'll be like gasps kind of moments. This scooper was Project Hurt, so take it with a grain of salt, but they did leak the costume descriptions for the movie before we got the teasers. So I mean, to be honest, I don't take that as like, oh my god, like I could have guessed what Thor was going to be wearing, you know. But they're talking about specifically here is there'll be moments in this trailer where like Marvel crosses a line, quote unquote, and there was a rumor that's gone around in the last few months that at one point, not confirmed, we don't know if it's going to be in the movie or it is in the movie or if it's going to be added in the reshoots, but there is going to be a scene apparently in the movie where Doctor Doom kills Steve Rogers' son. I hope it's not like the baby version, but I really hope, I mean, you know, I guess we'll see, because how it works out. I remember people were like crying when like Peter Parker got snapped away in Avengers Infinity War, or like when
I was cheering. Fuck that guy.
Well, but I remember there was literally kids in the theater when I went to see the movie who were like, is T'Challa gone? I was like, oh my god, that little girl is like thinks that they killed. I mean, obviously, like, you know, it was a big moment for a lot of the young fans at the. So if there are scenes like that, because you know how in the comics, in order to get to Battle World, you're gonna have to, you know, kill off a few characters and stuff. Like Doctor Doom's got to do some damage, but do you think any of those deaths will be permanent, or is that going to be all like whoever they kill off?
Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
Like Secret Wars, everybody's coming back.
Come on, yeah, everybody's fucking coming back. I mean, because they're gonna reset it anyway, and they already said they're gonna recast Iron Man and Captain America with younger actors, probably. So, you know, that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We'll save the. Are you talking about the Bollywood movie Ramayan? Well, I will talk about that tomorrow. I haven't seen the teaser yet, but we will. So don't worry, we'll get into that later. I think Hans Zimmer is doing the soundtrack for that. Actually, I was looking at that earlier today. But anyway, yeah, this looks like there's a lot of like duh moments, but Avengers Doomsday, it's probably the highest grossing movie to be of the year. So we'll talk about it. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about.
All right. All right,
later this
everybody.
week.
All right, let's get the fucking this fucking
Yeah.
shit. Let's talk about enough of this fucking MCU garbage. Let's talk about real fucking cinema here. Okay? Like fucking Godzilla's here, motherfuckers. Godzilla is here. He's back and he's ready to fucking terrorize the US because I'm when I saw this fucking trail, I was throbbing and ready to blow because holy fucking shit, we got Godzilla minus zero T's. It was less than a minute, less than a fucking minute, and yet most anticipated of the year, probably. And you know what? I'm fucking here for it. I'm ready for. Sorry, I'm ready for Toho. I'm ready for Yamazaki to own Marvel once again. It's like, hey, we have a budget of a ham sandwich, a chewing gum, and a dream, and we still fucking got the best visual effects Oscar. Suck on that, Feige, you fucking taint. Anyway, so I'm fucking here for it, and you know what? I respect it because Godzilla minus one, we got some stuff in regards to the US. Godzilla's coming to the US, and it's for me, it's just so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny that we had the chance to make two American adaptations of Godzilla. We failed at both. The Roland Emmerich and the fucking Gareth Edwards ones fucking suck donkey dicks, and the Japanese was like, all right, fine. Pulling a Thanos with this one. We're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna make the best American version Godzilla movie because you fucking actual dumbass Americans can't fucking manage it. So fine, we'll fucking do it. We'll do it. Here we go. I'm ready to go. Body is ready. I'm gonna, if the tickets are available, I'll buy immediately. Here we go. They built this in a parking lot, and it won a fucking Academy Award. Okay? If it wasn't fucking 12:30 at night, I would be fucking screaming, but I can't.
I thought you were losing your voice there.
But anyway. I'm here. I'm ready for it. Let's fucking go. I'm ready. The body is ready. The mind is ready. Filmed for fucking IMAX. It's like the Odyssey. No, fuck Sir Nolan. I'm ready for Godzilla. But that's actually not true. I'm very excited for the Odyssey. That looks amazing. I'm very excited for it. Don't get mad, Dan. I'm very excited for it. I'm so excited for it. I saw this 3 times in the theater. I rarely go see movies like twice, let alone 3 times. Hopefully I could see Project Hail Mary a 3rd time because that's something I want to see 3 times. But this, I saw the Godzilla minus one, Godzilla minus color, and then I saw the 75th anniversary of Godzilla. So I saw this 3 times in the theater. Saw Godzilla minus one 3 times in the theater. Just so good. One of the best fucking movie experiences. I bawled my eyes out. I was a baby, and just like, ooh, I'm ready, bro. Like it looks like they're gonna try and nuke Godzilla, and so that's definitely, or that they're gonna try and or they're gonna do the alien thing where they're like, oh, we're gonna use it as a weapon. It's totally gonna.
I think that's the idea.
And
the
then
Americans are
shits the bed. So hell yeah, I think, bro.
It's
hell yeah.
I think Kevin Feige is gonna go see this
Feige.
too.
Get your bald ass head out of here, you fucking freak.
I think Kevin Feige is cheering this on. He's a fan of these movies. They were talking about, Yamazaki was at CinemaCon talking about this. He was mentioning how they're currently, working on the post-production. So the VFX shots looked a little unfinished, but that's okay because they're pouring all their resources into this, he said. And yeah, it does look like Godzilla comes to America, the Americans going to try to use Godzilla, but I'm sure that won't work out all that well for them. So they also mentioned that the movie takes place 2 years after the first one. 2 years after,
so it takes place in 1949.
Yes, and it still follows the same family, the Shikishima family, and it's being released in the U.S. by G Kids, which recently was bought by Toho. So it's gonna get a full, wide release in North America. Like you said,
in November.
It's an IMAX production. Yeah, which I'm sure they got more money to make this movie, considering how successful the first one was. Like the investors must have been lining up to fund this thing. And like you said, the first one won the visual effects Oscar, and I'm sure this one. this
Yeah,
one will
it
probably
took
compete
70
forever. So,
years for
yeah.
Godzilla to finally win an Oscar. Never give up on your dreams,
Yeah.
folks.
I mean, you know, one cool fun fact they mentioned in this article in IndieWire was, this was like the first Godzilla, well, Godzilla minus one, which won Yamazaki the VFX Oscar. He did the VFX work on the film himself.
Yes.
Which makes
Well, I
him,
mean, there was a team, but yes, he was the
yes,
lead VFX artist on.
but essentially, like, usually it's unheard of that the director, I mean, James Cameron probably comes closest, but even he isn't the one like who's directly working on that stuff. He's got Weta and you know, some of the best VFX studios in the world doing it, ILM and stuff. But Yamazaki was very much involved with the VFX, which makes him, it puts him in some, you know, epically exclusive company alongside Stanley Kubrick as one of only 2 directors to win the VFX Oscar for the film, because he was like he was the lead on that VFX team, which is crazy to think about. You know, Stanley Kubrick is the only other director who collected an Oscar trophy for VFX before. Yeah, I mean, the first one made $115.8 million worldwide. I think it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but this one releases in Japan, Godzilla Minus Zero, on November 3rd, and then it's going to open in the US on November 6th. So November is about to be a pretty busy
on
month.
Netflix with a subscription.
There you go. So yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. The trailer looked really fun. It's a teaser, so they don't give us too much to look at, but it's still.
I've watched it like 10 times. This is beautiful. I've looked at this
watched
for
it 2
5
times.
hours
I'm
now.
probably going to see it again, but yeah. Yep. But John, let's talk about speaking of big
not
movies
quite
this
as
year.
good, but I'm actually excited for it. One, because the second trailer did improve on things.
I love that trailer.
And I will say, I would get a Skeletor popcorn bucket. I might hate Jared Leto, but I would get a Skeletor popcorn bucket because it genuinely looks really good. It's definitely like, well, you can, even his canines kind of look a little bit sharpened, so that looks really cool. So.
Yeah, I know. Yep, I definitely noticed that. So yeah, Jared Leto. Oh, I'm sorry, Skeletor. We're gonna get as. I guess if Caleb was here, he would finally have his wish fulfilled. You know. The
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure that mouth opens and closes, so Caleb can definitely, you know, be having fun with Jared Leto, honka honka. So you know.
You know what I know what you mean.
But yeah. So then you can also get the.
This movie should have the power,
set.
Yes.
So that's really fucking cool. And then you get obviously cups. Look at the little baby Skeletor. Very, very cute. And then you can get the. I thought this was you could get the fucking sword. I'm not gonna financially recover from this, am I?
So this is not a popcorn bucket, John.
No, this is a drink.
Yes. It's 44 ounces worth of soda you can pour, and you can unscrew. So basically, the handle you can unscrew it.
It's like a
and then
large
just like
flask,
like drink from it, which is wild to think about.
It reminds me of the War of the Roar Rim fucking popcorn bucket where it was in the hammer, and I'm like, bruh.
Yep. You know what I do hope though, that the seal is really good, because I bet you people are gonna like try to like then actually lift it like a sword, and I can imagine if you don't. No,
I'm not putting any. I never.
That shit is like
I never get drinks when
getting
I
all over you.
Go to the movies because I don't want to pee a million times. So yeah, Diabetes Nation. Honestly, for real though, for real.
Yeah. What are there any other editions?
I would
of the
fucking buy, like I'm excited, but I'm not like terribly excited for this. I'd fucking buy the popcorn bucket and I'd buy that sword. My parents would fucking kill me, but I would totally fucking get it.
Well, dude, there's actually another one below this in the article that looks kind of cool.
These are all really cool.
The Mountain
and all.
Snake Mountain, yeah.
Like it's got Battle Cat and all that stuff. So yeah.
Nice.
They're distributed as exclusives among the theater chains with AMC, Cinemark, and Regal Cinemas. Each likely to end up with their own. So I don't think it tells you which one gets.
We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you which one goes to each theater chain, but with my luck, I'm probably with the sword is it probably going to be available at AMC. But if it's at a Regal, so I have so. pretty much my entire friend group, we each go to the 3 big theater chains. One of my friends has goes to Regal. Another friend of mine goes to Cinemark. So I'm like, actually, I think there is a Cinemark in the mall. So I could
There's a
go to
Cinemark
that
in
one.
Manchester too, but yeah.
But I could be like, yo, guys, like, I will pay you back. Get me the
Dude.
fucking sword, bro.
Well, I'm gonna try to go to the if I there's a when I'm in town, I usually go to the Cinemark that's in Manchester. But also, like, I have an AMC near me, I have a Regal near me, and I also have like a picture show. So if I can find it, I'll definitely get one for you. And
Yeah.
then I'll bring it to you. So.
And it's also really like, I wish I could show my mom because the thing is, she worked at a toy store in the 80s, so she remembers the He-Man hype. She remembers like she knows, like, by the power of Grayskull, I'm He-Man, even though she like doesn't really know like the pop culture of that much, but she remembers that. So I just want to be like, I just have the sword to be like, hey, Ma, remember this? And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, it was a gift. I'll just say it was a gift.
Cineplex in Canada, I believe, is owned by the same company as Regal, if I'm not wrong. I think that's what it is.
Then
anyway,
Then Ron, I'll pay you. Get me one.
But yeah, I mean, enterprising.
You or Tony, get me one, please.
Like, enterprising thinking, maybe Master of the Universe makes more money than Supergirl. It's very possible. I feel like both of them probably in the same neighborhood. Ultimately, I feel like they're both probably aiming for around 400 to 500 million.
Just Masters of they both have pros and they both have cons. Like, the pros, I mean, this is gonna sound terrible, but like, it is a reality that we live with. It is a male dominated franchise, so has a male in the lead role, so that it does help that. Master of the Universe is decently well known. I mean, the most recent stuff was the stuff on Netflix, which was apparently not very good. Not a lot of people liked it. So there is that, but like, it's Master of the Universe is well known. But Supergirl is probably more well known. You had the show, Superman just came out. It's part of a cinematic universe, so it works. Both have the pros and cons, but if female-led movies, they kind of don't do as well, which is sad. But again,
not always.
I mean, not always, but like, it's sometimes it doesn't. It usually doesn't work, especially all the hate that Millie Alcock has been getting online. So that doesn't help matters.
Just completely
either.
Unwarranted, yeah.
But yeah, and it sucks, but like, I'm just saying that is a reality that unfortunately we have to live with. And with that, I think that this it's possible, it could, but I think it's more even than anything. I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, this makes $1 billion and then Supergirl makes $100 million, and it's just like, okay, that's definitely not the case. I don't think it's gonna be like that. So yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's not that far away. It's gonna creep up on us. We're already in the middle of April, so yeah. But you know what? Speaking of creeping up on us, the quick hits have finally crept up on us, John. Let's get into the quickies, shall we? We got a lot of them to get into today. Very much CinemaCon heavy. So, Enterprising's talking about John can't be compared to Supergirl scene to CW, and that stuck a shard in my excitement. Well, I mean, it's still, there's a lot of unfinished VFX, so I'm gonna just wait to see the movie, and I'm sure we'll judge it on its merits. But speaking of judging them on its merits, it looks like Senator Cory Booker, Democratic Senator Cory Booker, is looking to hold a spotlight hearing, in his words, about the Warner Brothers Paramount merger coming up. This is something that kind of ties into, they were gonna do this when Netflix was in the process of buying Warner Brothers, and then the hearing was canceled when the Paramount kind of came in and swooped in and won the war, the bidding war. But then basically Cory Booker was still trying to be like, David Ellison, why don't you actually come and testify in front of Congress like Ted Sarandos did? So now he's kind of set up like another hearing, and essentially the Paramount responded to this, but I don't think they confirmed whether they'll attend or not, or whether David Ellison will or not, but they did say that this merger will check the dominance of Netflix, which has been their whole argument this whole time. So I guess we'll see how this all plays out. Hey Patrick, but it's interesting because again, it's not going to be an easy path to approval, but it certainly looks like Paramount has done enough to probably get it done by the end of the year, so we'll see. But John, one thing we didn't talk about much yesterday from CinemaCon was Sony's presentation, where part of Sony's presentation, where they actually had The Rock, Kevin Hart, and I believe that the director of the movie, all on stage. Jake Kasdan is of course returning, to direct the movie Jumanji 3, which we now know is called Jumanji Open World, which, like you explained, John, it's kind of like these characters are sort of entering the real world, I think is the idea. They're stuck in like a demo
Kind of like
mode
what
or something.
Van Patten was in the original film.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Dwayne Johnson, they were all at CinemaCon talking about this yesterday. We didn't really discuss it because there was so much stuff to get into, and we just kind of forgot to mention Jumanji. But Jumanji Open World, it's coming out literally Christmas Day, I believe. So it'll be interesting. But
yep.
It was kind of funny. They kind of rib each other, Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson. I read some of the quotes, and I'm like, wait, are they actually like going after each other? But no, it's like they're all in jest. So of course, Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson are like this. So I'm excited. This will look fun. Then of course we got Michael O'Leary. So there was a big State of the Union address today at CinemaCon. This happens every year. So the CEO of Cinema United, which puts on CinemaCon, Michael O'Leary, this year, he was on stage talking about how he continues to want to advocate for the industry as a whole to not just obviously try to rally against the Paramount and Warner Brothers merger, which he continues to say fewer studios is less competition, which makes all the sense in the world. But the other thing he said was he wants the PVOD window to be extended. Basically, there's SVOD, which is streaming video on demand. That's like when a movie gets on Netflix or HBO Max, or any of the other streaming services. And then there is PVOD, premium video on demand. PVOD is when a movie is available to buy or rent, or before it comes out in physical media like Blu-ray or DVD. So what he wants to do is, he's like, it's great that we're now getting back to like a 45-day theatrical window. Disney already does 60 to 90 days. Most other studios are trying to get back to 45. Universal is the latest one to make a commitment to that. And they were the ones who started the trend to lower it in the pandemic, because they signed a deal with AMC that lowered their exclusive window to 17 days, but now Universal is going back out to 45. So Michael O'Leary really wants to get us into a spot where we talked about this yesterday, John. The idea would be that movies are exclusively in theaters for 45 days, then they still play in theaters for a while longer, but they don't hit streaming like SVOD, streaming video on demand, like Netflix and HBO and Peacock and Paramount Plus and so on, until 120 days at least after the movie releases, so that you get 4 months of play out in movie theaters, and people can get them at home, buy it on Blu-ray, but you don't get it on a streaming service for until like 4 to 6 months. He even said 180 days is something we can consider, and that will create an opportunity where people can't be like, I'll just wait till it comes on streaming, because then you'll be waiting 6 months. So like you said, John, it will create this want for people to go to the movie theater because they don't want to miss out on the conversation around the movie, because they won't get to see it on streaming for so long. And that's something we need to kind of get back to doing more, which used to be the normal in Hollywood. It's just not anymore these days. So yeah, I mean, there was also MPA, the Motion Picture Association head Charles Rifkin also was on stage talking about stuff. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, John, but let's keep on going with the quick hits.
Next up, apparently James Cameron doesn't fucking care about the Paramount Warner Brothers merger, because he's like, as long as it's not Netflix, then I don't really care, which is kind of fucking stupid. But
he was talking about how like David Ellison, he trusts him as somebody who can be in charge of a studio, and he's like, now he's got 2. He's like, I don't care, like he's gonna do a good. I guess he's kind of indifferent, but also he seems to think that David Ellison is the right man for the job. So we will see. Of course, he made Titanic with Paramount back in the day, so anyway.
Yep.
Let's keep on going.
But back to this.
So
dude.
Michael O'Leary. Yeah. So Michael O'Leary, the head of Cinema United, he recently. So during the CinemaCon week, there was a meeting with Ted Sarandos, which was set up before Netflix bowed out of the Warner Brothers deal. And Netflix was going to meet with, Michael O'Leary and a bunch of other distributor executive, like, basically AMC CEO and other movie theater CEOs, to talk about how Netflix wants to be more involved in the theatrical business. But at the time, it was all about like, oh, we're going to be the owners of Warner Brothers, so like we're going to be a big part of this now. But once that kind of fell through, Ted Sarandos still kept the meeting on, and it turns out those conversations apparently went well, but not in the sense that Netflix is going to be in theaters anytime soon. Basically, Michael O'Leary said, I don't want to give anybody the impression that Netflix is going to start releasing movies in theaters on a regular basis. It's just that, you know, there seems to be a desire to do more of it, which Netflix has recently been doing this, where they've been, you know, putting out movies in theaters for like a couple of weeks, or like the Stranger Things finale played out in movie theater. So I guess they're open to the idea. It's just Michael O'Leary's like, look, don't expect Netflix to be having a presentation at CinemaCon anytime soon, because until they start releasing movies like a proper movie studio in theaters, those are the studios that get a spot in a presentation at CinemaCon, and Netflix won't be one of those for the foreseeable future. So he just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, anyway,
Okay.
let's keep going.
But MPA chief on going to the mat with Instagram copyright AI and pushing
So-
a federal film tax incentive.
So basically, recently, we talked about this on the show. Instagram had introduced, like, they were basically trying to like use the rating system that the MPA has, like PG-13, PG, rated R, and they were using that for like Instagram Reels, and that wasn't something that was authorized by the MPA. So the MPA really, like, you know, sent a bunch of cease and desist letters and really went after Instagram. And I think it was a quick hit or two, but it was a while ago. And so they kind of like ultimately ended up in a situation where Meta kind of pulled back and stopped using that stuff extensively, because they were like, look, we don't want to confuse, you know, Reels on Instagram with like movies. Like, let's just be honest, those are two different things. So it was very offensive to the MPA that they were doing this. But and then also he mentioned how they're excited to potentially have a federal film tax incentive in play in the next, you know, year or two, which we've talked about before. Like, the current administration has like a whole Hollywood like council or advisors and stuff, which, you know, wherever you land on the political side of things, I think a federal tax incentive would be good to have. I still think the state ones will probably be the bigger ones, because whatever you do at the federal level likely is going to be lower than whatever California and New Jersey have some big ones these days. And so he was talking about that too. So we know Netflix is building a whole new like soundstage, like studio lot in Monmouth, New Jersey, and then California, we've been talking about, they just expanded their film and television tax credits, and as a result of that, like a lot of new shows and movies, like Baywatch, for example, The Night Agent, the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith season, they're all going to be filming in California and around LA because of that expanded tax credit. So the MPA lead, you know, the head, he was talking about those things, which this is just the business of Hollywood, but I think it's good to point out because it does affect us, because it affects the kind of movies and TV shows we get and what they cost to make, and therefore what we have to pay for ticket prices and whatnot. So anyway, let's keep going. Now let's talk about some movie stuff that I'm sure we'll actually,
Yes,
want to
very much so. Oh,
Yeah.
Welgo USA is sending Train to Busan back to theaters. I will 100% be watching it. And sets date for Yun Sang-ho's new zombie movie. Yun's Colony will premiere in Cannes before heading to theaters in North America. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Train to Busan. Let's bring it back.
Train to Busan, I still say is the greatest zombie film ever made. 100%.
I think a lot of people agree with you on it. Yeah, on that side.
But then we go on to Wonka 2. Apparently, it's reportedly beginning filming in late August.
Yeah,
So
this is from like a scooper, so I mean 50-50 on this.
Yeah,
but
who knows if like
we don't have a
with
ton of official information about it, so it's good to know that they're working on it. I know they were working on a script, like the director of the first movie talked about they were working on a script last year.
Paul King, I believe his name was.
Yeah, so I mean I'm not surprised they will be starting filming this year. So yeah.
But next up, Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher joined Casey Affleck and Pete Davidson in Doug Liman thriller Bitcoin as pick heads to con market. Definitely an eclectic group of people. I like Doug Liman. I don't like half this cast, so like
I love Isla Fisher. I mean, Isla
Fisher's
Fisher
great,
and Casey Affleck.
and
come on now.
But I like Isla Fisher. Like Gal Gadot, she's like, you know, not great, but you know, whatever. Casey Affleck is kind of a creep, and then Pete Davidson's gross. So like, but I like Doug Liman, so I might see it because I like his style of directing. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But next up, Hang on a sec. Next up, we have Beach Read. Patrick Schwarzenegger to star opposite Phoebe Dynevor in 20th Century's adaptation of Emily Henry bestseller. Beach Read, never heard of it. Congrats to both of them. Kinda don't really care. Next up, Young Sherlock renewed for a second season at Prime Video. I still need it. Hold on. I have my TV list.
Add it to
right
your
here.
list. Add it to your list.
Add it to the list. I gotta watch it. Goddamn.
Apparently, 60% of the viewers of the show are from outside of the U.S., so that's good. They've got a nice international audience.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Sherlock Holmes. Like, it's an international...
No, absolutely, yeah.
It's technically an international franchise, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Guy Ritchie, always a winner. Next up, speaking of always a winner, Taylor Sheridan. Apparently, The Madison has been renewed for a season 3. Yes, you heard that right. Season 3. When we didn't even know that a season 2 got announced, but apparently it was quietly filmed. And
yes,
like
back to back,
set to come out next year. So yeah.
So remember, they'd filmed season 1 and 2 back to back for this. I mean, yes, they didn't announce it publicly, but Michelle Pfeiffer mentioned that they had already got season 2 in the bag a while ago. So yeah, season 3. I mean, good. Paramount is trying to squeeze as much as they can out of Taylor Sheridan before he leaves for Universal. So not surprised. Yeah, he's the TV deal doesn't run out until like 2028, I think. So 2029 is when he'll start making shows for Universal or NBC Universal. So the movie deal, I think, this year he's already moved to NBC, so Universal Pictures, but he's still working on the Call of Duty movie for Paramount. So I don't know. I mean, there's, I guess, you know, as long as he started working on it last year, he's in it. So yeah, Paramount wants to squeeze as much as they can out of him before they lose him. So yeah, good stuff.
Hell yeah.
The Disney layoffs we did not discuss, Sanju. We did mention it the other day. So
Dexter Resurrection gets a little more famous. Uma Thurman just recently got added. She's returning to she was in season 1. She's going to be coming back to season 2. Brian Cox is apparently playing the New York Ripper. And then Dan Stevens is also going to be playing a serial killer role in Dexter Resurrection season 2. So just everybody wants to be part of Dexter, bro. And I'm here for it because I love my boy Dan Stevens. And I absolutely also love this show. I thought season 1 was great. So season 2 is definitely going to be maybe even better. So yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, Dan. I don't know if you watch
this show. I mean, I'm not watching the show, but I mean, Dan Stevens in anything is a good thing for me. So I love that guy. I just watched the third Night of the Museum movie back the other day randomly, and he was in that. I forgot he was like playing one of like the Knights of the Round Table from the Arthurian legend. So yeah. By the way, we didn't talk about the Disney layoffs, Sanju. I know we talked about it the other day. I know Josh D'Amaro addressed them today officially. They do involve some Marvel employees and a bunch of other marketing and branding employees from across the various marketing branding departments at Disney. So up to 1,000 people will be laid off. That did begin this week, and Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO of the company, officially addressed it because it was being reported last week. But yeah, I mean, it's never good that people are losing their jobs, but yeah, I mean, it looks like they're just streamlining or changing the structure, the department structure. So a lot of the mid and junior level management is being let go so that they can, you know, have, I guess, fewer middle management roles. But yeah, not good to see people losing their jobs. So anyway, let's keep going.
But next up, first look at Grogu's new home in The Mandalorian and Grogu revealed in full because that's what we care about.
It's nice. Yeah. There's like an art of book that's being put out soon, or it might already be out. So some people have, you know, obviously gotten a hold of this. So this is gonna feature, I think, in the movie where this is on the planet. If you see season 3 of the show, they end up like settling in on this planet, and it looks like they've got their own humble abode, Din Djarin and Grogu, and this is what it looks like. So yeah. I think it covers all 3 seasons of the show, and then obviously giving us a little bit of insight into the movie as well. Nice. Okay. Good to know that Grogu has a home, or cool. a place that he calls home.
But apparently, Neil deGrasse Tyson confronts Andy Weir on the science of Project Hail Mary, because remember, it's all fun and games until Neil deGrasse Tyson starts to bitch and complain about fictional movies that can't happen.
Well, like, I mean, he does it in jest, but like also this was great. This is the Star Talk podcast. They have a YouTube channel. Go watch this if you haven't, because this was a really fun, because I've seen Andy, we are on a million different podcasts promoting the movie, but he was on this one. He dropped a few nuggets of information I hadn't come across yet. And one of the things he just kind of like briefly mentioned was the budget for Project Hail Mary was like close to $250 million. When you account for like, you know, what they ultimately ended up spending, because they had licensed the movie for around 9 million initially, that did the book to turn into a movie. Then Amazon MGM had greenlit it for 191 million, so already the bill was 200 million, and then ultimately they ended up spending close to 250. But because they shot a lot of it in the UK, they got UK's tax credits, which is why, again, Marvel does pretty much everything in the UK right now. They have really good tax incentives, so that helped bring the cost of the movie down to around 200 million. Andy Weir knows about this because he wasn't just an executive producer who just has a name and gets a bunch of money for it. He was like a real producer on the movie, so he was involved and knew a lot about the financials of it, and of course he's the author of the books. I just wanted to point that out. I mean, Project Hail Mary was not cheap, but given that it's already crossed 500 million at the box office, John, even when you account for the marketing, it's about to break even, and then I'm sure it's going to make more money for them, and once it hits Amazon Prime Video, then yeah, I mean, they're going to be happy. This is their biggest hit. So but I highly recommend Star Talk. I watched this as one of my favorite podcasts, and the latest episode featured Andy Weir, and the science of, you know, Project Hail Mary obviously is always worth talking about. As a big science fiction nerd, I love all the details, because like Andy Weir put so much thought into all this that it's always great to see.
Begone,
like, you know,
thoughts. Anyway.
The level of detail that went into the making of the movie, and all the workings, the inner workings, like the idea of like it was transpermia. John, did you know that this is a concept that this isn't discussed in the movie, but according to, if you know, read the book, in the book, like the Tau Ceti planet is where all of life in like our local cluster of, you know, stars comes from, and transpermia is the idea that the life can like basically be taken from one planet on an asteroid, and like maybe even microbial life, and get transported to another. Like, so life on Earth and life on air, they're all water-based life forms, because they were all, you know, originating from Tau Ceti, which is where they eventually end up in the movie, and where they find the solution to astrophage. But yeah, it's crazy. I love good sci-fi. Project Hail Mary in theaters right now. Go see it. I will keep, you know, promoting it because it's a great film. So yeah, anyway, yeah, science to science fiction is always fun. I mean, Interstellar, Project Hail Mary, and I don't think he does, but yeah, that's it.
You know, it's better than applying science to science fiction is, as a matter of fact, being #blessed.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka!
Hello, we're here, DC. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's do that, shall we? I mean, it is DCU Daily. Welcome on in. We got a lot to get into, of course, as always. Especially, we got to talk about Man of Tomorrow and the big news, the casting news. As Man of Tomorrow, now we know Peter Safran mentioned at Warner Brothers CinemaCon presentation that Man of Tomorrow starts production next week. Cameras will be rolling, so it looks like James Gunn has finally found the last of the roles that he wanted to cast for the movie, which has been the talk of the town the last few days. So yeah, victory mine, DCU, keep up alive, hope it is fine. Yeah, let's get into the DC quick hits first. Of course, remember, after DCU Daily, we do have an episode of Tier List Tuesday coming up. You guys voted for,
I mean, fucking
Toy
a
Story.
Toddler can destroy Bill Maher. Like, come on now.
But you guys voted for Pixar movies, so we'll be ranking those, including all the Toy Story ones,
Yes.
I'm sure. So yeah. But John, DC quick hits. Let's start there, shall we?
Yes, apparently James Gunn is getting David Fleming, who was the co-composer with John Murphy for Superman, and he is alone going to be doing Man of Tomorrow. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I liked I liked both of their work. I know it's in terms of the trifecta of scores, new scores since Superman returned to use the John Williams score. Um in terms of scores that were used for like John Williams, Hans Zimmer, John Murphy. John Williams and Hans Zimmer were much better. Yes. However, I did like the leitmotif of using the John Williams score, integrating it into more of like a rock score. So I liked that a lot.
He
I
was the
thought that
second
was
guy. Yes, Eric. Yeah.
interesting. So I'm interested with what David Fleming has to work with and what he's going to be doing. Are they going to be doing something similar, or are they going to be doing something so radically different that it's going to be finally standing on its own 2 feet rather than relying on the John Williams score? But yeah. So
Yeah, no, I excited. He was the second composer to sign on for the movie. John Murphy was the primary, so it looks like he's going to be the one taking over as the primary for Man of Tomorrow. So, not surprised there. I mean, clearly we have talked about how Supergirl has gone through 3 different composers, so I'm excited to see that you've got some continuity here between Superman and Man of Tomorrow. So, yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
But yeah, moving on. It is quick hits. So hello. Rachel Brosnahan confirmed she will be shooting James Gunn's Man of Tomorrow soon. I really like the person who posted this picture. Like, they deserve both sides of their pillow to be gold.
That was a really great dress, but I won't lie, yeah. Between that and Adria Arjona, even if Eva Dominici ends up in a role, like, wouldn't mind it. She's been in the gym of late, but I guess she's not going to be in Man of Tomorrow, so but let's keep going. Great picture. Thank you, Eric. Yes. By the way, I did put up a poll. You guys can, if you want to vote on this poll, we're talking about we're going to like collect the results and talk about them tomorrow. Which of the CinemaCon panels so far are you most impressed by? You can, just type in the chat 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the option, and then that will you'll see the poll update in live real time. So anyway, let's keep going. More quick hits to come. Here we have Nicholas Holt's son shaving him shaving him for the upcoming Man of Tomorrow, which was very very nice to see. Very fun, very cute. Yep.
But
no, this is great. It looks like he's definitely. I mean, it makes sense now. Like they're getting ready to start filming, so it's about time that Nicholas Hoult went bald again. So yeah, definitely makes sense. I don't know what else to say to that. Yeah.
Next up, we have James Gunn posted this picture of Superman at rest. This looked like the scene right before he knocked down Lex Luthor's door to be like, yo, where's the dog, motherfucker? The Supergirl is gonna fucking murder your ass. Get me that dog now before she goes John Wick on your ass.
Superman at rest. This definitely felt like more of a Zack Snyder post. I was like, is James Gunn doing his best Zack Snyder impression with this post? But
Zack Snyder didn't fucking invent showing behind the scenes photos on Instagram, all right? Jesus Christ.
Fair enough. That's not what I was going for, but anyway. That's not what I was trying. Anyway. Go ahead. Let's keep going.
But next up, apparently the Superman Spider-Man #1 second printing covers reveal a Lex Luthor and Venom team up. I still need to finish this comic because it's great so far outside of the Tom King story, but it's I still need to finish it, but damn, it just they did so much for this and it was so great and just damn wonderful as hell.
Yeah, actually they have some of the covers here. Obviously you have the one with Lex Luthor. I don't know if he's fighting against or with the Venom, like the symbiote, but if you scroll on this article, they do have with the second printing. Jorge Jimenez shared this on his Facebook. I saw they've got, a bunch of new variant covers that you can collect. So yeah, you got another Superman Spider-Man cover, which looks nice. And then if you go through there's a Lex Luthor one with Venom. That looks crazy cool. Another classic Superman Spider-Man one. You got the Black Suit
Superboy Superboy, or no, it's I think Resurrected Superman and Venom Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which looks great. And that's about it. But yeah, I mean, this has been shared many a times. Great covers all around, great artists, great overall, a great issue, except for Tom King. But that's par for the course.
Yep.
Also, I didn't like how they fucking killed Jimmy Olsen by Carnage. Fuck that shit. Fuck you for killing my boy. Like, how do you kill the Riddler?
Yeah,
get out of here.
I saw that and I was like, are you gonna be, because I think that was one of the days that you weren't on the show last week, and I was like, I don't know how John's gonna feel about this, but
bruh, I really didn't appreciate that.
It's
but I will say it was a little funny because they're like, he's the greatest reporter that's ever lived. He got me pictures of Carnage before he died. And it was just like, okay, that's like kind of funny, but like, I didn't like him dying anyway.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's keep going. More quick hits to come.
But this promo art really fucking looks awesome, and it's for t-shirts. This looks really fucking cool. This definitely has that punk rocker vibe. Love that. Especially this.
What does it remind you of? I feel like the text on the eyes reminds me of something. It's kind of like the Batman Superman post, Batman v Superman.
Yeah, it's definitely something, but I forget what it is, but it definitely has.
Or like, is it Watchmen? Am I
similar vibe to something? Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. I love the look of this. This is this is like also a t-shirt design which you'll be able to get a hold of. So yeah, this looks really cool. And the car signature also looks nice. So yeah. Looking to see more of this. I mean, I think there were t-shirts of this being sold at Revolve Fest. That's where this artwork is currently. If you guys have been able to get a hold of these t-shirts, then I'm sure you'll look really dapper in one of them. So nice. All right. Turns out, John, we are going to be talking about Zack Snyder a bit more on today's show.
Yeah. But yeah, your boy, it's just like Zack Snyder cut. It was super interesting. I want to see the sequel. And then like the most we'll get is Sonic 3. I
mean, it feels like Sonic 3 borrowed more than a few elements from Man of Steel.
Yeah, and they made it better. They made it good. Again, we've talked about how they improved the Martha scene. They made it good and made it make sense.
Turns out it's not a coincidence, which is great. Good.
Zack Snyder's the blueprint, guys.
It is, if you ask the guy behind Sonic the Hedgehog movies, who's gonna be working at the under the same house moving forward, because Paramount and Warner Brothers will be under one umbrella. So, I mean, it's right there. It's pretty obvious how they're going about it. But yeah. Hey, you know what? I guess Zack Snyder did manage to inspire the right people.
Yeah. And they made movies from it, unlike his own. So,
That's the end of the DC Quick Hits. That brings us to the big main event story of the night earlier, and Warner Brothers presenting all the Supergirl talk. Man of Tomorrow, we know, goes into production next week. Cameras will be rolling, as per Peter Safran. He talked about it at CinemaCon. James Gunn, of course, is busy with the cast of the movie, and now we know that that mystery role, which James Gunn refuses to confirm if it's Maxima or not. We know, John, you sent this into our group chat earlier as we were preparing for the show. Yes. Adria Arjona is the one who won out the at the end of the screen testing for the role, the last uncasted role in Man of Tomorrow, no longer uncasted.
Allegedly.
James Gunn did say that was the last role that they were cast. There was one more to cast.
Well, it depends on what the role is.
What do you think, John? That's a good question, right? So we know Adria Arjona now is going to be in Man of Tomorrow. It is a mystery role, according to The Hollywood Reporter. If you go over quickly to Variety, their headline said that it is going to be Maxima. So Variety seems to think she is going to be playing Maxima, which was the reporting before. the Hollywood Reporter not so much agreeing with it, but the Variety is still sticking to their guns and saying that it's going to be Maxima. And so I don't know if you can, are you able to switch across to that article?
Yeah.
So Ron's saying, bit of a shame she would have fit Wonder Woman, but I'm sure will be Maxima. Well, you know what? Hold on to that thought. Because while Variety's saying she's going to play Maxima, remember how James Gunn got into that whole spat with Deadline over their reporting? Well, go to the Deadline headline. Wow, okay. Deadline headline. Adriana Arjona, they're saying lands the Maxima role in DC Studios' Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. None of these reports got an official comment from DC Studios, so the DC Studios declined comment to all of these outlets. But like I said, that original Hollywood Reporter article did say it's a bit of a mystery as to what role she will be playing, because James Gunn did say he refuses to confirm whether that's Maxima or not. I mentioned the other day that's most likely because contract negotiations are still happening, so anything that you talk about publicly while this is still not a done deal could provide the other side leverage in that negotiation to maybe ask for more money, or be like, what if we pull out now? That's going to be a PR problem for you. So that all being said, John, if you go to the comicbookmovie.com article for a moment,
yes.
They asked the real questions here, and the real question becomes, with James Gunn not confirming this to be Maxima, there were reports that, you know, Wonder Woman could make an appearance in this movie, maybe in like a Supergirl capacity towards the end of the movie. Jeff Snyder was kind of speculating about it for a while. So the question is, because James Gunn mentioned, you know, last year when he was there was a whole hullabaloo about, oh my god, James Gunn just followed Adria Arjona on social media and everybody wants her to play Wonder Woman, and James Gunn even addressed it in a I think a Threads comment or reply, saying that, you know, he's known her for a long time, he's cast her in a movie years ago.
I mean, he produced the Belko Experiment, which is one of her first movies.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, James Gunn was like, yeah, I'm sure she will make a great Wonder Woman, but obviously he wasn't thinking about casting her at the time. Now that James Gunn has cast Adria Arjona in Man of Tomorrow, the real question is she Wonder Woman? Is she going to play Maxima? One thing that Daniel Rickman pointed out, which I think is really key to all of this, and I want to get your opinion on this. Remember when Superman was filming, they weren't initially, this is before the set photos and everything, in some of the reporting that was around at the time, we heard that James Gunn was using the names of some characters from the Authority, because remember, the engineer was in the movie, who's an actual character from the Authority in the comics. But beyond that, we were potentially looking at like some of the other Authority team members being in the film. Ultimately, it ended up being Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and of course Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. But in lieu of that, we were potentially, you know, seeing code names, you know, names from the Authority instead being used for the Justice, you know, as a stand-in for the Justice Gang. So Daniel Rickman was pointing out that hey, maybe Maxima is like the cover for Wonder Woman, essentially, that they're going to keep calling it Maxima, but when the movie comes out, when we do get to see Adria Arjona, like we have a moment, maybe we have a moment like what we got in BVS, where like, you know, we're like like with the whole gauntlets, and then like, you know, our new Man of Steel, Superman asked Lex Luthor, like, is she with you? And Lex Luthor is like in his battle suit, like, I thought she was with you. And maybe we recreate that moment, and instead of like Maxima, it's Adria Arjona is playing Wonder Woman. I don't know, John, where do you stand?
I will say, no matter what role she is cast as, I mean, James Gunn ain't escaping the allegations, first off. No. And second, she will do great in either role. I know a friend of mine, she's like so pissed that like, if she's Wonder Woman, the DCU is dead. Fuck this. I don't want this fucking bitch as Wonder Woman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, fucking calm down. It's a movie. No matter what happens, she'll do great as Maxima. She'll do great as Wonder Woman. Whoever it is, I would prefer Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is the better choice for her. However, you know, and plus, it makes sense. Redhead erasure. It's happening all the time. It just happens. But even then, like, at the end of the day, I'm excited for this movie. We're finally getting Brainiac. I would like to. It's like I'm kind of torn because I think Adria Arjona would be better as Wonder Woman. However, I don't want to see Wonder Woman in this movie, so I'm like torn. I'm like, is this like James Gunn trolling us? Because he does love to troll. He's like, all right, this fan casting for Wonder Woman, I'm gonna make her Maxima. Eat a dick. I could definitely see him doing that because that's a very James Gunn thing to do. But like,
has he done that
like,
before?
it's just like he has cast fan castings, not based on the fan casting, just from their own merit. Like he was watching Pearl, he saw David Cornswet, and he's like, you know, that's interesting. And then Aaron Pierre just submitted an audition tape, and he's like, yo, this guy's motherfucking Jon Stewart, bro. And so they cast the both of them.
I mean, one could say that she had like maybe an unfair advantage given her past experience with James Gunn.
Possibly, you know? Nepo baby.
Yeah.
But
not necessarily that.
No,
but...
I know. I'm just kidding. But it's like so tough because like on the like so much is like I want to see Adria Arjona as Wonder Woman, but I don't want to see Wonder Woman in this movie. I wouldn't mind seeing her as Maxima, and I would love to see Maxima in this movie. Maybe she like works with Brainiac. Maybe she's like a pawn for him. Maybe she like he follows her. Like she's going to like, oh, I heard you were, you needed to start a harem. Like, get me pregnant, and because that's essentially Maxima's character. Like
from Planet Almerac, she wants to have
get married.
She wants to have
kids.
Superman's babies. Yeah.
But so there's that and I know there is a comic story where Maxima works with Brainiac. I forget the name of the story. Somebody will say it in the comments.
She's also been in the Justice League too, so
yeah, exactly. Maybe... And she was in Superman the Animated Series, all that. So it's so tough. It's like there's so much nuance with this because it's like I don't want to see like again we got like so many characters in Superman and now we're like getting Brainiac and oh my god we're gonna get Wonder Woman now, like come on, that's a bit much. And I don't know, it's just so like I'm so like torn between so many different things. At the end of the day, like if it's like a one and done cameo, like it's like less than like 5 minutes, then I'll take it, but I still don't want her to show up in the movie. That's just Indigo could be interesting, but that's like a later version of Brainiac or like one of the like many things of Brainiac. So it's there's nuance. There's a lot of nuance there. Like there's a lot of depth there. Like I want to see her as Wonder Woman. I want to see Maxima in the movie. So I'm just kind of torn between those two things, and we'll just see how it goes. Like because I know the actress who played Ma Kent, she was like, I didn't hear about any like Maxima casting, and then she kind of just left that. So it's like Ma Kent, what the fuck do you know? I forget Nev something. Yeah. So
I mean, maybe she was just being like asked a question, and that was like a loaded question with the word like maybe somebody asked her about Maxima, and so she responded about that. Not so much that she maybe gave away something, but anyway, I will say though, I mean, Adria Arjona is a busy actor right now. She's got Splitsville coming up at Dakota Johnson. She's got that new Thomas Crown. Remember, we talked, speaking of heist movies, we ranked the other day. There's a new Amazon MGM remake of the Thomas Crown Affair that Adria Arjona is a part of. That was actually being directed by Michael B. Jordan. So yeah, I mean, Michael B. Jordan is going to be, I think he's in the movie, he's directing it, and then she's in it as well. So she's hot right now in Hollywood. Well, coming off of Andor, Onslaught. She's with Adam Wingard. Well, yeah. But you know what I mean. Also, I wanted to kind of let me ask you this question quick, because remember Jeff Snyder sort of, and I know it's Jeff Snyder, but like I think it's fair when he was sort of speculating, and he was speculating. He said it himself that you look at the list of actors that were screen testing, even if you include I think it was a Bella something and the one from, what's the other one I'm thinking of? There were Ella Purnell and Marissa Abella. Those were the two names that James Gunn said they weren't even screen testing for this. So those were, I mean, whether they were true or not, but Jeff Snyder was talking about whether you look at those two, it's not I don't think, he was like saying, look, Deadline probably didn't pull those names out of their ass. So maybe they were involved at some point. But even if you don't take those into account, other than Adria Arjona, you had Eva DiDomenici, and then you had Grace Van Patten and Sydney Chandler. One's got to wonder, like, Sydney Chandler's got like her breakout show going on, Alien Earth. Eva DiDomenici is in The Cleaning Lady, Under the Stars, and then Grace Van Patten has been huge. Like her breakout role has been Tell Me Lies. Adria Arjona is probably the highest profile of the three of the four names, but why go through such an extensive casting process if you're just casting a role like Maxima? Because it's not going to be a big role. I know Jeff Snyder was thinking, and a lot of us might be thinking the same, that James Gunn might be bringing this character in with a small appearance, like more than a cameo, but not really a big supporting role, to then have her feature more heavily down the road. But to me, to go through like a huge casting process like this, Jeff Snyder was also saying this, like, why do that for Maxima? It makes more sense to do something like, go through that extensive process for Wonder Woman. I don't know. Do you think that lends any more credibility to the idea that she is playing Wonder Woman? Or do you think that James Gunn would go through that similar kind of extensive process for casting, even if it is Maxima? Or maybe does it hint at the idea that Maxima is going to be a bigger part of the DCU than any of us expected her to be?
Yeah, maybe he just really wants to find the right actress for the role, for Maxima. So I think, I don't know. I just don't think she has that small of. I mean, it's entirely possible that maybe she's an anti-hero here, but then becomes a villain for like Superman 3 or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. So I think, I think that
Hell
could
with
definitely
Fury
be
like
the
a woman's
case.
scorn, maybe, like, because
Well, it's just like the whole thing is like
rejected.
She wants someone of equal footing to marry and then breed with. I mean, I know it's funny and gross, but like,
Well,
that's the character. Like, that's why she wants Superman. It's like he's the last.
I don't know if that's the
Kryptonian.
wording, but
he's the most powerful.
I mean, these are all good ideas, Enterprise,
person on the planet. So, I think it could definitely be the case of like maybe like the next movie is gonna like take place immediately after, like, okay, we defeated Brainiac, babies, and like that's kind of like, I don't know, I could see it like in a lot of ways, like, oh, maybe she's a villain here, becomes an anti-hero, maybe she's an anti-hero, helps defeat Brainiac, and then she's like, okay, cool, now I have seen your power, Superman, you are on equal footing to me, let us, create the greatest warrior of all time between the two of us. And he's like, whoa, I got a girlfriend, bro, and it's Rachel. Have you seen Rachel Brosnahan? Like, hello.
Well, I mean, it's a hard choice. Rachel well, okay, we're talking about the names of the actors, but like, between Maxima and Lois Lane, I guess it depends on, where Superman stands on there's a cat behind me. You see that, right? Like,
no, he jumped.
Yeah,
there he is.
That's
or she is.
She. You okay?
I think. I mean, to be fair, it's technically not a Superman movie because it's Lex Luthor and Superman. So.
Yeah, I mean, Justin B guy asking the question, like, if it is Wonder Woman, then why not just make it a Justice League movie?
Eyes up here.
Eyes.
I know, I get it. We got the bulge, but like, eyes up here.
Eyes up here. Yeah. I mean, the Watcher thing seems to think it is indeed Maxima.
Yeah, the thing is, I would not mind. Like, I do think she would be better suited for Wonder Woman, but like, she's gonna kill it as Maxima either way. Like, if we're looking too far into it and it's just like, oh, she's Maxima, I'll fucking take it. There are plenty of other actresses that can take over the role for Wonder Woman, whatever it is. Like, Adria Arjona is the favorite, yes, but I mean, we had 4 other choices on our Wonder Woman casting, and hell, that would leave, Katie O'Brien, maybe. I think she would also be a great choice for Wonder Woman. So,
I mean, what about? I mean, I think Ursa or Fowler. The reason why James Gunn might not be going there is because he's probably not going the route of Zod or anything just yet. Plus, we have seen those characters more often than I don't think we've ever seen a Maxima in live action. So, James Gunn wants to kind of utilize those other characters that we haven't seen before, right? I mean, even like obviously Lex Luthor we have seen a million times, but the other characters, like for example Guy Gardner, we had never seen in live action. Mr. Terrific we hadn't seen on the big screen before. Hawkgirl. So like, I think he wants to utilize some of those other lesser known characters in the movie world for DC. But yeah, same reason why Captain America Civil War isn't called Avengers Civil War. It's probably why. Okay, so I get it, Enterprising. Maybe I mean, it's starting to feel more and more like a Justice League level movie, which is why it would make sense why James Gunn kept saying it's not a Superman sequel per se. It's a movie that features Superman. So yeah, you add, I mean, but even if it is Maxima, I think it ends up being still like a big lineup. There's so many meta-humans in this movie. I talked about it the other day. Is it too many? Probably not, because you're still gonna, the core focus of the movie is gonna be Superman and Lex Luthor, which is what James Gunn had been reiterating the other day. I think he did an interview about this recently. Yeah.
No, we can't blame Maxima. Like, come on now.
Come on, Justin.
Like,
you guys. Yeah, come on now.
He's got the bulge. Like, come on.
He's got the bulge. Oh. Sorry. The kitty is going wild. She just walked all over the camera, so
yeah.
She literally like stomped on the camera. That was I don't know what that looked like because I couldn't see my screen. But anyway, okay. Well, I think we're kind of like leaning on Maxima at this point. I don't think, if it is Maxima, I bet you it's not just a post-credit scene. If it's Wonder Woman, it's probably a lesser role. But if it is Maxima, I bet you she's got like a supporting role, or maybe like more than a cameo, but so like more than one scene, maybe a couple of scenes, but that so it's not quite supporting, but a step down. So yeah, and they are still working on the Wonder Woman script, so I bet maybe I don't think they're looking to cast for Wonder Woman just yet, if you're being truly honest, until that script is done. But or maybe James Gunn has an idea where he wants to go with that character, so who knows. Mongol for Superman 3. Well, there isn't a Superman 2 yet. I bet you when James Gunn is going to announce a second Superman movie after Man of Tomorrow as a proper sequel, and then we'll get to a third Superman, well, Superman 3. So let's not jump ahead. Maybe for Superman 2 you can look at Mongol. So yeah. You know what? Watcher's making a great point. If they were casting her for Wonder Woman, why hide it? You would want to put that out front and center, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense, like thinking about it logically. So you would definitely want to not be like, oh, by the way,
well,
like
no, I mean, maybe they want to hide that it's Wonder Woman, so you know.
It's but like, you know, like from a marketing standpoint, I don't know. I guess James Gunn is in charge of the studio, so he can make that decision. Like with Zack Snyder and the BVS, like that whole thing. I remember like it was kind of tricky, like why not just keep it Batman v Superman? But then they put like Wonder Woman front and center, and she ended up being like a pretty significant part of the film, for the better or for the worse. For a lot of people, it felt like that movie got too busy, so maybe that's why they don't do that here. But I don't know. You guys let us know in the comments. What do you think? Maxima, Wonder Woman. Who's Arjona playing? It's most likely Maxima, but it could be Wonder Woman. Or, like one of you guys were saying, could be something, character related to Brainiac, Enterprising was suggesting, or Indigo, or any of those other options. There's always the chance James Gunn can surprise us. So we'll keep an eye out, and if there's any more news on that front, we'll obviously be covering it. We are here again with DCU Daily tomorrow, Thursday,
we also have Tier List
and Friday.
Tuesday.
Yes, we do. Tier List Tuesday is coming up. And, well, what makes Maxima interesting is that she's going to be hitting on Superman and trying to have Superman's babies, which I'm sure will create lots of fun conversations in the movie and in the movie theater. So, yes, Patrick, we've talked about it a lot before, so definitely I'm sure we'll be talking more about it, especially as we get to find out whether she is indeed playing Maxima, Adria. So, yeah. Tier List Tuesday coming up next. Make sure to pop in there. The poll for Tier List Tuesday is already up. Yeah, Lois is definitely going to be very jolly to see Maxima come in and hit on David Cornstalk's Superman. She's going to defend, well, I mean, if she does indeed love Clark, then she's going to have to fight for him, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see you on Tier List Tuesday. Toy Story amongst other top 15 Pixar movies of all time. We're ranking them coming up. Be sure to join us there. I think this stream will directly send you to that one if you're watching live. So until then, stay #blessed. Tomorrow we'll be covering the CinemaCon panels for Universal and Amazon MGM, and then Thursday it's Paramount and Disney. So come back for that. But yeah, if you're sticking around, then we'll see you on Tier List Tuesday. Until then, stay blessed from the beginning.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we
Go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you wanna shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
Fuck Tom King, Jeff Snyder, and David Ellison. Cry baby Ellison. Wham, wham, wham. Go die in a hole.